Grand Rising family and grand afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. Check in. Let us know where you're hailing from because it's going to be a nice conversation this morning where I'll try my best to be brief. But welcome. Check in. What's going on in your neck of the woods? How are you, family? We're just going to talk about some of the few things that are going on in our society right now. So come in, let us know where you are, where you're hailing from, and how things are going. This is Tuesday, May 19th, 2026, and the time is 12:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So welcome. Come on in. Check in, family. We'll get started in just a few minutes.
She knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way.
Check in, let us know how your
To a
Tuesday is going.
brighter, freer day.
I know this is impromptu. Come on in anyway.
Through her channel, knowledge flows,
Thank you. Happy to see
breaking
you.
chains that hold us close.
Thank you for the hearts. Come on in,
Paths
family.
to abundance
Grand
and
Rising.
wealth, guiding
Yes.
others to freedom self.
Jamie says, I feel a total peace within myself. This is different. Love from Ohio. It's good to see you too, Jamie. I'm going to make one hell of a reporter for the Republic. Good day, King Tony. It's good to see you. Jacqueline, Sister Jacqueline's in the house. Good day. Check in, family. Peace and love. Good day.
Wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do.
It's rising. I have a namesake in the chat. Hi, Kia English Miller. It's good to meet you. Yeah, rising. That's your jam, Joshua. Thank you. I love it too. Thank you.
Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way
Check in.
to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call.
Usually my grandchildren aren't here, and they are here, but I sent them in the back to have this conversation because the first part of the conversation is a little private. Have the doors closed. There's some things I want to say to the soul family this morning, just to encourage us. Grand Rising. Peace. Got your B&B on the way. Hey. All right. Check in. Keep checking in, soul family. Well, thank you for being here, Grand Rising. I have a few things on my mind, Miller. Greetings to you. Hi, Hummer, Grand Rising. Ivana, blessings to you. Bib is in the house. I had a few things on my mind, but first of all, how are you all? Like really, how is everybody doing? Let us know. Hi, Elton. Marlon's in the house. Hi, Marlon. Grand Rising. How are you all doing? Just checking in with everybody. Greetings from Belgium. Hi, Happy Feet. I'm more calm now than I have been in the last week or two. I was like really, really tired and stressed, not from anything happening, just from working like around the clock and, making sure my family's okay, taking care of my grandchildren. I'm homeschooling them, and I kind of got behind on some of their lessons because you have a regimen. I have a regimented curriculum that I have for them, but I also teach them about life, you know. So every day is a living experience or a teachable moment. Almost everything's a teachable moment. And I think that's something that parents sometimes forget, that is not necessarily what we say to our children that's teaching, but it's how we live our lives in front of them. It's what we do and how we respond to different situations, how we act in the moment. Okay, our children are literally watching everything we do, and our grandchildren. So I do want to talk about that just before we get into the news. I want to know how you are doing. Super fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. You're good, good. Putting your feet on the ground, fresh plasma. You're welcome. How are you all doing? So I said I had been tired, you know, doing a lot, not only just working with my family, but for the soul family, you know, and I'm running a few things all at the same time, doing a lot of different things at the same time. But I wanted to have this serious discussion today because a lot is going on behind the scenes with the world, and we often report on geopolitical news, global financial news, and we talk about the projection of the future. Um, Having said that, though, in the interim, people have to live in the meantime, and they have to live focused on what's happening in that moment. So I want to have this sobering conversation because I'm seeing something happen around me that, in some ways, could have been what people would say abated, or it could have been offset, or it could have been managed differently. And what I'm seeing is a lot of our family members are struggling. A lot of people is going through financial difficulties, hardships, death, sicknesses, diseases, losing jobs. And I need to have this conversation because I cannot tell you how many times I've had conversations with people around me and on podcasts and broadcasts where I say family is important. We have lived in a system that has taught us to be severely independent and has taught us to be self-absorbed, right? So when we living an individualized life and we're living independent, sometimes we get so caught up on our personal lives, we forget about our children, we forget about our parents, we forget about the elders that are in the nursing homes, we forget about the loved ones in the hospital, and we even forget about our neighbors. It's like we've lost connection. So this is a pertinent conversation because even though the deep state has conspired against us and has worked us into oblivion and taken a lot of our sweat equity and taken a lot of our money and a lot of our time, some of the struggle that we're going through or have gone through could have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Less than what it is. Some things we could have prevented, honestly. So let me be careful about what I'm going to say. So all around me, I see people passing away and people sick and people in hospitals and disease and people, elders in nursing homes and children not liking their parents and parents not liking their children. And I keep saying that as much as lie within us, we really need to reconcile those relationships. Because at the end of the day, when you're alone, if you're sick, if your family's not there, the hospitals don't care about you the same way as your family. Who's going to take care of you? When you need to go into a nursing home, who's going to take care of you? Who's going to check on you? Who's even going to consider taking you out? You know, if you don't have established relationships. When it gets down to the wire, who's going to help you pay your bills or put food on your table if everybody's your enemy? So we've lived in the era of social media and the era of I'm going to do me and I'm going to do whatever feels good. Do as thou wilt. I'm going to cancel out people who don't get along with me. And we live in a media in an era, social media era, where people put up a camera and they complain, and they tell all their family business, not caring that they're hurting the other people. I should say, not caring that we hurt other people when we get on social media and complain. When we get on social media and we talk about our husbands, or we talk about our wives, or we talk about how we can't stand men or we can't stand women. When we get on social media and we talk about our mothers and our fathers and how, we don't like them. And then when it comes down to the crunch, down to the wire, where you're being squeezed out financially, and we realize the government doesn't really love you, and Uncle Sam doesn't really care about you or your children, we don't have anybody to turn to because we've been conditioned to cut people off in cancel culture, to get online and talk about how much we can't stand them. So I'm asking you today, where is your family? Where is your daughter? Where is your son? Where are your grandchildren? Where are your parents? This is serious to me. Because yes, mothers make mistakes. Yes, fathers make mistakes. Yes, parents sometimes struggle with addictions. Yes, they get caught up in working more than what they should do sometimes. Yes, they've made decisions that they should have rethought. But when it comes down to it, relationship, that's the greatest currency you can have. Because you only have one father. You only have one mother. I'm talking biological. You only have a couple sets of grandparents. So, and I'm having this conversation because a lot of people that I see right now who are struggling wouldn't have to be struggling if they had fixed the relationship with their child's father or their child's mother, or they did all they could to try to restore the family or keep the family together. A lot of people I see crying right now because of deaths that's going on all around them. I cannot tell you how I have said over and over and over to people around me in my community, build a relationship with your mom. Oh, I don't like her. Why don't you like your mom? Oh, well, she made this decision and she made that decision. Okay, but that's your only mother. And then when the mom passes, it's the most devastating thing in the world to watch those children struggle and suffer because they didn't reconnect with mom. Or go have a relationship with your dad, because your dad can help you figure out if the man that you're bringing in your life is the right man for you, because men see men. The fathers and the elders should be vetting these covenant partners and relationships. But we want to do what we want to do because it feels good. And society has told us that at 18, you're grown, so you can make your own decisions. And society has told us parents to push the children out as soon as they turn 18. And then we wonder why they're having children out of wedlock, or why they're having children back to back that they can't afford, or why they're caught up in so much debt, or why are they drug addicts, or strung out on alcohol, or strung out as sex addicts, or why is your daughter in the stripper joint calling herself a dancer when really she's a stripper, flat out. We wonder why these things happen. To some extent, they happen because we've allowed society to tell us to push our children out at 18 and figure life out by themselves. We've allowed society to tell us elders, oh, I did whatever I could, the best I could. Meanwhile, our children are out there struggling. I know we talk about geopolitics and finances and, we're going to be rich one day, but the greatest currency, again, is relationships. So what if all the banks shut down right now, or the world closes again? I'm not saying it's going to. What if that happens? Who's going to take care of us if we're all acting like we're an island, we're isolated? I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I see people crying when their parents pass away. Those of us that really believe in family, our voices are silenced by media that's telling everybody to cancel people. That by media that's telling everybody, you don't have to have a relationship with your mother. Even therapists and counselors, which we don't even like the name therapist because it means the rapist. Therapist literally says the rapist in the word. And counselors are telling people, oh, just cut your mom off, cut your dad off. They upset you, they offended you. Oh, you don't need them. Oh, just go ahead and forget your child's father. Men are no good anyway. Well, just, go ahead and haul him off the court. That men are no good anyway. This is the rhetoric we're hearing now. Oh, you don't like your child's mother? Well, those B words, they think they're so bad. They're so good. They've come a long way. They're such feminists. You don't have to get along with your baby's mother or your ex-wife. But now people are struggling because we've lived in an era of cancel culture and get on social media and tell all our business, and then we hurt relationships. So my admonishment today is, family, find out where your children are. Figure out what's going on in their lives and how you can rectify the relationship, because just like you're struggling, your husband's struggling, your wife's struggling, your child's struggling, or maybe, I don't mean financially, it could be emotionally. I'm not saying everybody's struggling. I don't even want to put that in the atmosphere like everybody's, but a lot of people are stressed out right now. A lot of us are doing well, but a lot of people are struggling. And here's the thing, no man is an island. We need each other to survive. It doesn't matter to me that mainstream media says you don't need anybody, you're okay. Because when your mama or daddy close their eyes and take their last breath, you can't go back. So other people might be telling you to cancel out your parents. Dr. Kia Pruitt is telling you, as much as lies within you, try your best to have a relationship with them. As much as lies within you, try to understand where they are coming from. There's a principle that says, seek first to understand and then be understood. That means be quiet sometimes and try everything within you. Seek first to understand what that other person is feeling. Have empathy for them. Put yourself in their shoes as much as you can. Even if you can't put yourself in their shoes, seek first. Do all you can first to understand them, to hear their story, and then tell your story. But that means you got to close your mouth, listen, and be genuinely concerned. Why did my mother make the decision she made? Maybe she had been raped as a young age. Maybe her parents weren't together. Maybe something happened along the way. Maybe she wasn't taught. Why was my father making certain decisions? Why did he never? I talked to a gentleman and said, my father didn't come see me. I said, have you ever considered that maybe your parents got into a disagreement and your mom prevented you from seeing you? Your mom prevented your dad from seeing you? He didn't want to hear it because the only story he had heard all his life was that the mom was angry and the dad just didn't care. But when it got down to the wire, the mom was so bitter that she fed bad stories to the son and made it so difficult for the ex-husband that at some point he got tired of fighting to see his child. And so he said, I'm just going to take my hands off. But now the child is grown and all he knows is that daddy took his hands off instead of going to daddy and trying to seek to understand and then be understood. So we're living in a time where a lot of people are just passing away because the multiverse or the universe or the earth is speeding up. The vibrations are going so fast, everybody's energy won't be able to deal with the shift. This is the shift happening. When you have a shift in the vibrations and a shift in the planet, some people's DNA are being elevated and they're dealing with the shift and they're going to go up, and then some people won't make it. While you can, find out what went on with your elders. Reconnect with your elders. Come on, somebody. If I'm speaking to somebody, just put a 1. You don't have to say it's me, oh Lord. You have to raise your hand. Just put a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense. Because everybody's not going to tell you that we need each other to survive. So figure out what went wrong, what went right, and how you can move from there. Because those elders that's going to pass away are going to be the very ones when they're on the other side that's going to be directing you. For those of you who know the power of ancestry, they're going to be, the ancestors are concerned about their bloodline. When you reach out to your ancestors and your elders, if you're an ancient person or you're indigenous, you come from certain bloodlines, you know, we know about and we believe in and we practice speaking to our ancestors when they're on the other side. Ancestors are concerned about their bloodline. How can they take care of you and cover you and protect you from the other side if we haven't established a relationship with them? Now let's talk about us being elders. Some of us have made serious mistakes. We've not gotten along with the children's parents. Some of us, sometimes it was our fault, sometimes it was their fault. Sometimes, what I mean by fault, sometimes we did things we could have done differently, sometimes they did things. But when do we take accountability for doing what's in the best interest of the children? Because there's you, there's the companion, there's the children. Okay? Sometimes we're so concerned about taking care of me and satisfying me that we forget about the children. And I can already hear somebody in the background saying, yeah, but I've already did this for my children and I suffered. Why can't we do both? Why can't we? And we can at some point grow up enough to be concerned about the children's health, well-being, and emotional well-being, and take care of ourselves. Some of us could have made different decisions, but you can only make the decisions based on what you knew at the time. So as you grow up and you mature, when you realize my children are stripping in a strip club, mine aren't, but I'm saying some have. My children are making decisions that I don't approve of. Maybe it's because I need to take ownership for what I did in front of them or how I lived my life before them. Because what I hear parents saying is, well, I taught them and I showed them and I told them not to do this and I told them not to do that. But what did they see you do? How did they see you live? It's not just about what we said out of our mouths. It's the life we lived before our children. Even if we made mistakes, here's what we can do as elders. We can go to our children individually, or we can call them together as a group. And we can say, I just want to know, I'm checking in. I want to know how you're doing, and close our lips. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. I want to know how you're doing. Tell me about your day. Tell me about your life. Tell me about what's going on. Or you could say, I want to talk to you about this situation. Now, and just listen. We would be surprised if we just, as elders, close our mouth and listen and let the children speak. We will be surprised how much they've held in. But because I was born in 68, I'm a millennial. I'm right after the baby boomers. The baby boomers, I don't think they were allowed to talk, be seen and not heard. The millennials, some of us, we still came from that be seen, not heard. Some of us just acted out. When you come from that generation, instead of talking to your parents or being allowed to express yourself, because, I'm a fan of being seen and not heard at sometimes, you don't need to just be running roughshod around the house, tearing up the house. But I'm also a fan of listening to the children, to the young people. So a lot of these young people, Generation Y, the millennials, the Zetas, and I don't know who, a lot of them got a lot of pent up anger and frustration. So they're taking it out in their relationships, and they're smoking weed, doing drugs, partying, jumping from relationship to relationship, having sex with a bunch of people that leads to having a bunch of babies. Even the ones that are doing well, maybe they're going into debt, they have a spending issue, or maybe they're in therapy, which is going to counseling, which is good. But a lot of them have pent up frustration. So why would it not be a good idea to sit your children and your grandchildren down and say, tell me what's going on in your life? How are you doing? And then button your lips and listen. They have a lot to say. We elders, as much as we are on social media as influencers and, people on social media putting up posts and kikiing with our friends and having a good time, we haven't made the best decisions and blaming everybody else for, our decisions. I see a lot of women on social media talking about how they're mad at men and, men try to control them and tell them what they can wear and can't wear, and they can sleep with whoever they want, and they can do whatever they want. They can show all their body parts that they want. Your children are watching you, shaking their head because mama's grown and she want to do your thing. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Our children are watching. And if we really listen to them, they're not pleased. I don't know how we can move on as a nation, whether you're talking about indigenous nation, as a tribe, as a family, as Americans, as a society. How can we move on if your bloodline is not satisfied or taken care of because the government is gone? There's no more food stamps that's going to keep being dolled out and dished out to mothers with children. No more Section 8. No more welfare, even for these people that came from all over the world to get free handouts. Now you're going to have to go back to your own country and deal with the hell you didn't want to deal with because you wanted to run away for a better opportunity and left people behind. You're going to have to go back and deal with the children you left behind, the parents you left behind, the elders. Let's not play. I have international friends. Some of my international friends don't want to go back home and ashamed to go back home because their family are like, you went to America and forsook us. Yes, they sent a lot of money back, but they're like, everybody didn't send money back. Forsook their community, their family, their bloodline. And you got whole families angry abroad because people came here to have a good time and a good opportunity and forgot about the children they left behind. Partying in the clubs. Forgot about their ancestors, their elders behind. Now that the government is shut down and nobody's buying United States Treasury bonds, I'll bring in some geopolitics in here. No, countries around the world have dropped the United States Treasury bonds. They decide we're not buying them. We're not buying your debt anymore. So the government is broke and insolvent. The United States Treasury Department issued a report September 2025 saying the United States government is broke. It's insolvent, can't pay its debts. It's bankrupt. People have said, prove it, prove it, prove it. No, do your own research. We're all adults here. We're tired of hand holding people. Grow up. Do your own research. We'll help you as much as we can. United States Treasury Department issued out a report September 2025 that said the government is broke and insolvent. Now, this is the matriarch in me speaking, okay? And I'm not trying to yell at anybody. The reason why people don't believe it is because mainstream media, according to reports, missed it. It's not that they missed it, they didn't report it. When I found out about it earlier this year, I reported it. I had to find out from ex-Marine. I didn't even think to look at the United States Treasury Department. But nobody's buying treasury bonds, so the government is broke. There will be no free handouts to all those people that came over here to start businesses. So now they're going to have to go back home to fix their own country, and it's going to start with your own family. The rest of us are going to be left to deal with our children, our parents, our elders. So my encouragement and my admonishment before we go into the political news is restore and repair your relationships. Sit your family down, especially us elders, and talk to your children. How are you doing? Check in with them individually and then as a group, and admit, I made some mistakes. There are some things I could have done differently or better. And then close your lips. Let them speak. This is just my encouragement. Did you do it, Pruitt? Yes, I did. And I've testified that about that through the years on social media to the family. I've testified that I didn't go into bit detail because it's nobody's business what I could have done differently. But I did have that conversation. Have a conversation. You'll be surprised how the children just want to be heard. Your adult children want to be heard. And I could have done, you can say I could have done things differently. Or you can even say, you know what, I didn't know. I did what I thought was the best, but I hear what you're saying. Thank you for sharing how you feel. That means a lot to me. What I heard you say, listen to them. How are you doing? Okay, let's role play. Hey, Jamil. I'm just making up that name. How you doing, son? I'm doing fine, Mom. Oh, you say you're fine. All right, son. I'm gonna give you a hug. Hey, I want to talk to you for a minute. I know I called you and said I want to talk. I just want to check in, son. You know, I've been thinking about this. You're doing well with this, that, and the other. I just want to check in and ask you, how are you doing? Talk to me, son. How are you doing? I'm good. Okay, well, we had a conversation, the other day about A, B, and C, and I could hear it in your tone that something is not, really feeling good. Or, I've been thinking about when you were growing up, this and that happened, and I just want to know, how do you feel about that? I did my best, to have this conversation earlier, but now I'm here. I know maybe your dad and I didn't get along, or I saw that you had this thing going on at this certain time. I just want to talk. How you doing? And then be quiet. And as the conversation evolve, was it evolves? Oh, you said so. I want to talk to you about when you were younger and you had made this comment about, that you were angry, or maybe the other day you said you were angry about something I said or did. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about that. How are you really doing? Okay, I hear you. I understand. Yeah, you're right. You're yes. I do hear what you're saying. And just be quiet without getting offensive because it's gonna hurt. Some things will hurt. Some things are gonna feel good. Yeah. Son, let me tell you something. I take full accountability for everything that you saw, everything that you experienced, everything you witnessed, everything you heard. I take full accountability for that because I am your parent. I am the adult. Now, there are some things I did not know. Still, I take accountability. And now that I know better, I'm coming to you to tell you I apologize. I apologize for A. I apologize for B. I apologize because what you're just telling me, some of that I didn't know. I apologize because I was just working so hard providing that I missed this. I am sorry about that. I take full accountability. Now, I'm not going to blame the father. I'm not going to blame the mother. I'm not going to blame anybody else. Or I'm not even blaming myself. I say I take full account. I'm giving an account for what I did or did not do. I'm not telling him that. I'm telling you all. I take full accountability. I'm sorry. How can I make it right? And be quiet and listen. They might cry, they might cuss, they might scream, they might holler. They're adults. I take full accountability. How can we move forward? And then how can I make it right? How can we move forward? Son, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do everything I can to repair this relationship. And you said I disrespected this person in your life. I didn't treat your woman right, your wife right. I apologize. I take full accountability because you're an adult. You can make your decisions and that's who you chose. Now, you might have the type of relationship where it might be a rule in your family that they can only marry certain bloodlines. I don't know, different traditions. Then you tell them, son, in our tradition, this is the way we do things. I have to honor the fact that you're an adult. And I'm going to do everything in my power to be respectful and to honor the covenant relationship that you have. Well, oh, you're angry because I didn't have the relationship with your father and I need to repair that. I apologize. They don't need to know. Adult business. Oh, well, he did this and she did that. And they don't need to know. Some things everybody doesn't need to know. Because when you think about the emotional stability of that child, you should know each of your children. All the children can't handle adult business. So what's my point? My point is society has taught us that it's your thing. You can do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. In other words, I can't tell you who to screw. You do, it's your thing. It's your body. Well, you know what? Telling everybody that it's their thing, they can do what they want to do has gotten us in a conundrum. Because now the elders are stressed out from raising the children from the adults that we told, go ahead out, do what you want to do, party, see the world. You don't have to marry. You don't have to enter a covenant relationship. Travel the world. Party as much as you want to, sleep with whoever you want to. And then somebody got to take care of that. Either you as the elder, the community, whoever CPS gives the children to, or Uncle Sam, and give them welfare benefits. But the welfare is dried up. Now you hear women all over social media crying because nobody's giving them food stamps and they're getting cut off. Welfare and it's getting cut off. And I get it. That's what it was there for, temporarily until people got on their feet under this system. But it's not the government's job to take care of your bloodline or my bloodline, your tribe. That's your job. That's my job. So now we're living in a situation, a society where the adult children are making a whole bunch of babies they can't take care of or can't provide for. The daughters, some of your daughters are sleeping around because you didn't one told them to go and party and have a good time. And now they're not marriageable to the responsible men because men really are concerned about body count. They don't want to know that if men don't want to take your daughter out in front of the family or to the workplace or different places and then know that this man and that man and that man had her. You can say it's not fair, it's not right, all you want, but you don't get to say to the person who's buying or to the person who's proposing to marry your daughter what he can and cannot accept. But because some of us have told our daughter, it's your thing, do what you want to do, party, have fun. They came home with a bunch of children, and now the men, responsible men, don't want to raise somebody else's children. Now we're in a situation where you say you don't believe in polygamy, but you got a leftover daughter with children that nobody want to marry, but you got a responsible man over here who believes in polygamy that might be the only one that'll take your daughter for marriage and her children. I'm just telling you where we are now in society. You can like it, you can don't like it. We told and I had this conversation with mom. I said, Mom, isn't this something that we've given women so much freedom that now they're uncontrollable? Now they're having so many babies out of wedlock, don't know who the baby's fathers are, blaming children on this father, that father. Now they're angry and on social media crying because their welfare got cut off. Now we just had Mother's Day. You got women all over social media crying, single mothers. And it's sad, crying, oh, My baby daddy didn't say Happy Mother's Day to me. It was a phase. Baby, you're not his mother. Now, they commercialize these days so that people can spend money, buy flowers, buy candy, but y'all bought into it. We bought into it. My family's not really big on holidays, but I will cook a mean dinner on Mother's Day for my family. I will go to my son's house and for some dinner. But baby, you had a baby for him, but you're not his mother. And this is what men are saying. I was even taken aback. I was like, oh, I didn't know men felt like that. You're not his mother. That's what the men are saying. So women are all over social media crying. I just had Mother's Day and I had Mother's Day and my child didn't even call me. What was the relationship like with your child when you had the opportunity to rear him up in a way where he knows how to love, revere, and respect you? Because here's the thing. Children respond to the energy that we gave them when they were young. And when we had stewardship over them. So and when they get older, they don't even mean no harm. A lot of children don't even mean harm. They don't mean any harm. So a lot of children didn't even call mothers on Mother's Day. I know Mother's Day is not that significant to many of us, but it's significant to people all over social media. Compilations of videos with women crying. What was your relationship like with your child? Be honest with yourself when you were the steward of that child and that child was in your house. So this is just indicative of society at large. You have nursing homes where people don't even go see their mama or their daddy. What were you doing when you had the opportunity to train your child in the way that he or she should go so that when they are old, they won't depart from it, the training? See what I'm saying? Elders left in the nursing home. The elders have to take accountability for some of that. Society takes accountability for some of that because we shouldn't just push them out there. Some of us are just working and we're tired. I get it. And it's just too much. But let's talk about the responsibility that we do have. As elders, how were we living our lives when we were younger? Were we responsible parents? Were we kind and loving? When we made mistakes, did we correct those mistakes? Or were we being independent and self-absorbed and caring about ourselves only? Or did we give the excuse that I'm the parent? You don't matter. Don't question my parenting, even when you get an adult, become an adult. So a lot of elders have to take accountability for how we've been treated now. Because in the moment when we're emotional, we talk against the father. When we're emotional, we talk against the mother. When we're emotional, and I get it, I'm human. I made mistakes. But how are the children affected? And those are things they don't forget. When you're stressed out, what did you say? You got so many parents cussing out their children. Some of my sons have said, Mom, I have tried dating in this world, but the women are egregious. They cuss out their kids, some of them. They yell at them. They're frustrated. Or they have children by multiple men. And okay, one or two, maybe. I don't even want to do that. Some of these men are saying, including men in my family. But 3, 4, 5, I can't do it because now I got to deal with the energy of these other men. When I tell you, we need to get a reign and control over our bloodline and our children, I'm very serious about that. So us elders, some of us are left in the nursing homes because of the way we treated them and the things that we did in front of them. They don't even mean any harm. It's kind of hard to care about a man that wasn't around that called himself my father. I'm talking about, this is how children, young adults feel. It's kind of hard to be there for a woman who was so concerned about herself that she didn't check in with me emotionally. It's so hard to be concerned about a mother who's in a nursing home who was cussing me out. Do you see where I'm going? So we need to really, really do some repairing of the family. And then when we check out of here, the child is left distraught and destroyed because now they're feeling guilty and they're feeling sorry for what they didn't do to take care of us when we were sick or we were in the nursing home. But it could have been dealt with a long time ago before we checked out of here. Now we're dealing with the children. We've been told to push them out at 18 because they're grown. The mind, the brain doesn't even fully develop. The part that deals with making decisions doesn't even develop. Come on, psychologists, talk to me. Until what age? Talk to me, psychologists. What age are you when your brain finally starts to develop to the point where it can make good, rational decisions? I'm trying to look at your comments. Somebody says maybe change the delivery. I can't see what you're saying, darling. Maybe change the delivery. My comments aren't coming through. Maybe change the delivery about women and their kids. We don't know that their circumstances. Everybody has their own journey. I don't know if you're talking to me directly, but here's the thing about women. Women want to be pacified, placated, and talked to like their children. Grow up. Grow up. Take accountability for how you lived your life and what you did as a woman. Grow up. See, a lot of women grew up without their fathers in the home, so they take everything, instruction, directions, as an insult. They don't know about discipline. They don't really understand consequences. They want everybody to hold their hand and to say that they're, what they say? Boys about, they said puppy dog tails and something when it comes to boys, but honey and spice and everything nice. No, we're not all honey and spice and everything nice. We start off innocent and we've been given so much space and so much freedom. Freedom ain't free. So much freedom that we've gotten ourselves in a conundrum. And now we tell people, don't shame me, don't fat shame me, don't shame me about all the people I had sex with, don't shame me about all my mistakes I made. Shame keeps some people in check. And what I mean by shame is to correct people and say, what you did was wrong, baby. We're so concerned about delivery that we don't want to get in order. The women are so out of order and so out of control that the children are in the streets killing each other, having sex in the bathroom. I'm a teacher in the bathrooms, bringing in babies. I'm so shocked by how many women say, oh, I had my first baby at 13, 14, 15. Where the heck was your mama and your daddy? But you know what happens when a woman turned 40, 45, after she done ran through the streets and partied and went on girls' trips and chased the bag and did whatever she wanted to do? Now she wants a good man to provide for her and pay all the bills, listening to everybody online tell them that if a man wants you to go half and half, he ain't no good. After you done racked up all your debt, you got college loans, student loans, debt, babies, a string of men you've been through, emotional trauma, but somebody got to pay half your bills. No, you need correction. I'm not going to change my delivery. Grow up. You're an adult. Somebody has to tell you. See, when your daddy, Big Daddy, when Zaddy, the government cut off them food stamps and that welfare check or cut your government job, are you going to tell him to watch his delivery? Because he ain't going to care. So the elders have to tell you, y'all are out of control. We elders are out of control. We have not done our jobs to sit you ladies down and tell you to close your legs, shut your mouth, and listen to instruction. We failed the women because we were too busy out here partying. You cannot like it all you want, but only a hit person hollers. I'm not changing my delivery. Grow up. You're an adult. We failed you. We failed you. It's a failure to society. If so much of the population is depending on the government, we should have created businesses and opportunities for you so you didn't have to depend on the government. We failed you. I'm not going to blame society. I'm not going to blame racism, the government, immigration. I'm not doing any of that. I take full accountability and responsibility for what has happened in my family's life. And that's why they're thriving. They have their struggles, they have their issues, but I take full responsibility and accountability for my life. And when we as elders stop placating and pacifying these children and rear them right and live a life before them that they can mimic and pattern themselves after, then they will make better decisions. We've pacified women too much. We played patty cake, baker man. Oh, I don't want to hurt her feelings. Baby, you overweight. You don't have big mama energy. You're bigger than a linebacker. I'm not talking about one person specifically. I'm talking about women that don't want to be taught. No man wants to deal with an obese woman that he got to lift 400 pounds to deal in order to pick you up. You're overweight. Your mama should have told you that. The elder women should have told you that. Watch what you put in your mouth. Don't pick up everything and put it in your mouth. But you have some of them that's overeating because they stressed out because of the stuff their parents put them through. The elders need to step up and correct the foolishness we see going on. It should not have taken RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., or Donald John Tavius Trump to cut off sugary drinks, candy, and junk food and energy drinks from EBT cards. Because we should have done our job to train you how to eat right. Now you're 35 and you weigh more than some of your elders because your elders were taught to eat right. And after they had their babies, to go walking, do yoga, do aerobics, exercise, and to get that weight off of them. And we were taught to nurse our babies so that our womb could shrink. We were taught to keep our bodies tight. We were taught to eat well. We were taught to stay young and vibrant. And because most women desire to live long and they desire companionship. A man biologically wants a woman with curves, with a small waist. They don't teach y'all that. They teach y'all, don't fat shame me. You can look however you want to look. But then you wonder why nobody's choosing you for marriage. They choose you for what? This is what the men are saying. She's for recreational uses only. Since the women out here saying I can have sex whenever I want it, whenever I can, whenever I want to, the men are saying, cool. But in terms of putting a ring on your finger, providing you for you, protecting you, paying 100% of your bills, my body's not really attracted to you like that, is what the men are saying, because biologically, they desire women who can procreate, whose body's curved a certain way. Y'all try to shame these men and tell them, oh, you want a teenager. You just want a little girl. Now that you reach 40 and you're looking for a man and you're competing with the young girls, you try to shame the men who would choose a 25-year-old before he choose a 45-year-old who got 4 kids and a whole lot of debt. No, biologically, he wants a young woman who can procreate. And even if he choose you, you ought to be grateful and not try to shame him and say thank you. But who is he going to choose if he chooses an elder woman? 9 times out of 10, one that managed her energy, knows how to talk to men, love men, respect men, and keeps her body a certain way. You can't tell women anything. The first thing they want to say, talk to me nice. You talk to them nice, they still don't want to listen. They run out. Look at the condition of society. Society can raise no higher than its women. See, I love and I respect the idea of bringing back the matriarchy. I'm concerned because the elders are here shaking their booties in the club, having fun, which if you want to have fun, cool, but where are your grandkids? Why is your daughter strung out? Why your son can't keep his penis in his pants? Why your child's father or your ex-husband and you can't get along? Why are you on social media showing all your behind? And you got all these young girls following you Talking about, yeah, girl, you right. It's about the bag. It's about the bag. And yeah, you can show your figure. Are you one? All these men that's in your inbox, they thirsty. No, you showing your booty all online for everybody to see. You know what you're doing. I'm going to correct the women because there ain't nobody else going to do it. The government has to literally cut these women off food stamps, welfare, Section 8, and cut their jobs because they thought they were better than men for them to shut down and be humble. Now the women are in a place where they're going to have to get along with somebody. Because see, the feminist movement didn't care about you either. Becky didn't really care about you when she invited you to the party to come to the feminist movement. You serious? Mylene didn't really care about you. She was looking at your man. But the thing about Mylene and Jaquisha want to talk about her man and shame her man and disrespect her man. Mylene is taking cooking classes to learn how to get your black man. But you want to be pacified. The government literally had to cut the women off of benefits to drive home a point that we elders should have taught them a long time ago. And now we got 40, 50, 60-year-old women, never been married, never been had a real covenant relationship. You don't have to believe in a marriage and marriage license by children who don't know who their fathers are. Or we don't have relationships with the father. We need to grow up. Literally, like, I'm not going to do it. We need to grow up and take accountability for the decisions that we made. Because see, the social media podcasters that are out here telling you to chase a bag, they struggling. They're just not telling you. See, they are benefiting off of you listening to their rhetoric about chasing a bag, and they're making all this money from the products they sell, being on social media, the ads that come through Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much, Dr. Pruitt, Smokehouse today. They're making money while they say, oh, if he won't pay 100%, leave him. Go get that man with money. Doesn't matter if he's married and got a family. It's just about money, baby. It's just about money, baby. These men aren't stupid like women think they are. They're making money off of you, telling you to only chase the bag. So we got to grow up. I had a conversation with Mom. I said, Mom, it's really sad that in our family, the older women taught the younger women that men ain't no good, men ain't ish. I'm talking, I not all the women, but some of them. And while these older women taught these younger women that, we got women on drugs in our family, not just women whose children have been taken by CPS, being raised by somebody else. Women who are dependent on the welfare system. I said, maybe it's because the elder women didn't teach them or instruct them the right way. And my mom said, and it's beyond what we said to them, the elders said, it's that we lived a certain life before them. And now we're wondering why our young women in our family, in our communities have turned out the way they are. Look at OnlyFans, women making money off of selling sex. Men enjoy it until it's their daughters. So men, if you don't want your daughter being a stripper or selling her body on OnlyFans or on the street or on the corner, you have to be the example to not go to those places and not talk about those things and not do them. Because your sons are watching you. They're going to mimic that and do that to somebody else's daughter. Let's stop being so selfish and be concerned about the community, because the community is where you're going to go now that the government no longer exists. I said, Mom, isn't it something that we have generations of women saying men ain't ish. F men, men this, men that, men are no good. Men don't do nothing but beat their wife. Men are abusive. Because a man can't correct you if he said, I don't want my wife showing all her body parts. I want my girlfriend doing this. Oh, you trying to control me. I don't want you to be tatted all up. So, and some men have even gone back down and said, okay, maybe one or two, but not your whole body. You look like you're a warrior out here in these streets. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. But then you want a certain man. Well, baby, a certain man is not going to bring you in front of his mama with your whole body tatted up. Somebody got to tell you. I said, isn't this something? We had whole generations of women out here just running roughshod. And the men are the ones, I don't know about you, in my family, they're raising their children. The men, the ones that society was saying no good. They're raising their children. They're fighting for their children. They're taking care of them. If they don't have them, they're paying child support. I think people have watched too much TV that they think that men are no good. They don't watch massa movies and slavery movies and Color Purple too much. You need to turn off the television, turn off the music. And we need to go back to the old way. There's a scripture that says, go back to the old landmark when a mama and a daddy instructed the children and the elders instructed the mama and the daddy and the community held each other accountable. Here's a little geopolitical news for you. The government no longer exists. People are being arrested. Judges are being arrested. They're administrators. Attorneys are being arrested. Police officers are being arrested. Look at my video called FBI Raids. Trump will be the last president. Look at my video with Chief Rod Hayes where he talks about that. Section 8 is gone. EBT cards, they're not giving out as much. Green cards are being in question. Citizenship is being in question. People with green cards are getting shipped back home. I'm telling you, everybody been playing. Nursing homes are closing. Hospitals are closing. Doctors are walking out of the office. They don't want to deal with insurance anymore. We really need to bring the family back together. So I see a situation where children are struggling when all you got to do as an adult, not all you got to do, one of the things you can do is to bring them back home. Some of that's going to have to start with saying, I take accountability for some of the decisions that I made or the mistakes I made. And I apologize for them. And I want to bring out, how can I want to make this right? Because you might be thinking, I don't need my kids today, but one day you're going to be 75 or 80. Who's going to take care of you? You might think you don't need a companion. You don't need a husband. Did you save enough money to when you retire at 75? Because say you women are living longer now. When you might be 80, 80, who's going to take care of you those last 10, 15 years? Did you save enough? Because Social Security might be gone. Yeah, we're going to all be wealthy. When? They don't have to roll it out tomorrow. We're going to have Nasara. We're going to have Jasara. If you have silver and gold, you're going to be okay. When are they going to roll it out? Did you save enough money? If you're a man and you were sitting out here whoring out in the streets, running through women, disrespecting women, cheating on your wife. Now, if she cheated, you have a heart attack. Men and women are different. Don't you know that some experts say that women get tired of monogamy way before men get tired of monogamy? Because biologically, people in general like variety. But as a society, we agreed on monogamy. So if you're in a covenant relationship with somebody, abide by the covenant. Why do we act like we can't control our body parts? If you make an agreement, stick to the agreement. Or if you can't do it anymore, come to the table like adults. Here's the thing. We talked about the women. Men, you will cheat on your wife, wreck your whole family because you saw a pretty young thing that you desired. And then you'll tell the other woman you want to sleep with, oh, my wife. Ladies, stop listening to these men tell you, my wife is so bad. My wife doesn't give me sex. It's the same story over and over. Oh, we're together, but we sleep in 2 separate rooms. I can't leave her. I have children. Why can't you? I'm not telling anybody to leave their wives. What I'm saying is if your penis is that important to you, or if the covenant agreement cannot be kept and she's still keeping her in, be a man. Sit your wife down and have a conversation. But to drag another lady or ladies into that situation because you just want to pacify your penis is wrong. And somebody got to tell you. Now, your male friends ain't going to tell you. Your pastor friends ain't going to tell you. Dr. Mama Kia Prue is going to tell you, you are wrong. When you can have a conversation with your wife and say, hey, I'm not satisfied here. I know it's not that easy. I'm not a man. Maybe I'm simplifying it. But why would you wreck your whole family because you saw this woman over here? And some men really are living in sexless marriages. That's a shame. Do something about it. Go to counseling. Talk to your wife. Unfortunately, some wives don't care. Then y'all need to go and really figure out how you're going to work this out. But to bring a whole nother woman in and tell her lies or truths, knowing good and well that she probably lonely. And then when it comes down to the wire, you're not going to leave your wife. Ladies, he's not going to leave his wife. Women will leave. Women don't play that. If we're not happy, it's not going along. Most times, according to statistics, 80% of marriage divorces are initiated by women. We don't play those games, dragging it out. I can't leave him. I can't leave my family. I'm not even saying that's planning. Maybe some of us should stay longer. We'll be like, I'm out of here. I'm saying in general, men don't do that. I give them some credit for that. They won't break up their home. They won't. But here's the thing. If you're the other woman, check yourself, really. Think about this. If you're the other woman, he has a wife who cooks for him. He can have sex with her whenever he wants. Sometimes they may not, but at some point she's laying right in the bed next to him, or he can go right into the next room. Don't play yourself. They have family meetings, family reunions. They have holiday together. All of his buddies know her. His male friends are going to pat him on the back. He may have one or two and say, man, you shouldn't do Emily like that. You shouldn't do KK like that. You shouldn't do Mylene like that. One or two. A lot of them have somebody on the side. I've heard men talk. I'm a counselor. I was a life coach. He's not leaving his wife. He will tell you, I can't leave. The real thing is he got a whole wife at home that he's entered in a covenant with. He's not going to wreck that over fun with you. He can replace you. He got 3 or 4 yous. He's not going to leave his children. He's not going to let it be told that he left his wife, that somebody he crossed the threshold with, said I do to, and his children. She helped build him up and make him the man he is that you desire. That's why you like him. He's more responsible. He takes care of business. He pays bills. He knows how to compartmentalize. He worked. He got a wife. He got a girlfriend and children. He smells good. He looks good. He eats well because of the wife, because of what they built together. He's not leaving her. I'm talking to somebody. Honor yourself. Respect yourself enough to not be with a married man. It's hard out here. A lot of men aren't responsible. There are some that are. The ones that are of a certain status and age, oftentimes they're already married. We don't practice polygamy over here in America. It's against the law. You maybe join a society that does believe in polygyny, because I can see the benefit of it. Here's the thing. A married man will tell you, my wife knows. She knows I'm unsatisfied. My wife understands. I can't leave her right now. You know, she's dependent upon me and I can't leave my children, but just give me a year. Well, then why don't we have your wife knows that she understands you have needs, and let's talk to the wife. My wife knew I was polygynous. Well, let's have a conversation with the wife, because if everybody agrees to it, then what's the problem? But see, that's when you find out the truth. Let's be honest. If you're in a covenant relationship, whether you are naturally or not naturally monogamous, you agreed to it. Be honorable and do it. And if you can't do it, have a conversation with your spouse. And then some contracts, at some point, you might say, you know, I entered the contract as long as I could. This is beyond me. But then you have to think about your children. But some of us are so selfish. We will wreck our whole family because this man looked good or that woman looked good in the moment. How do you explain that to your children? It ain't their business, but they're going to want to know. The community is going to suffer. Here's the thing. We've been taught to be individualized. We've been taught to be concerned about ourselves. We've been taught to cut off people. But at the end of the day, we need each other. When the family severed because we, in the moment, we wanted to experience somebody else, we're going to miss that family. When a family severed, I have an uncle who had a string of children by this woman, that woman, this woman, went all over the place. Now he's sick and in a nursing home. Didn't have time for any of those kids. One was strung out on drugs. She passed away. This one had kids taken care away. Some of them are doing extremely well. But you know what? If you didn't build a relationship with those children, now that you're sick, they're not coming to see you. It's not in them. You weren't there. They don't even hardly know you. Think about that. You're going to grow up at some point and get older. And you're going to need somebody or somebodies. So let's, if we can, and we haven't done it already, repair the relationships. Even if, let's say you've done well. You've repaired relationships. You never had destroyed relationships. You're on a good path. You don't have any of these issues. Can you please teach somebody how to achieve what you've achieved? Please. In your own way. Can you teach somebody how to love and raise children? Can you start a school so we don't have to send our children to the enemy? But here's the thing, the government, the public schools, they're about to phase out. The Department of Education has been dismantled. You know that, right? President Trump froze the money that was at the Department of Education and gave it to the states. So now state schools are operating, and you can get money to train your and raise your own children, teach your own children, have homeschooling and private school. Can somebody please? Because some people got it right. I'm on my platform now speaking and, admonishing. Some people got it right. Some of you have done extremely well in marriage and covenant relationships. You have good, excellent communication skills. Even if you're not with in a partnership or covenant relationship with your previous companion, y'all all get along. The children are healthy. Your family's doing well. You know how to manage finances. Please start a business and teach us your ways. Please write a book. Please write children's books. Please create good, high vibrational music. We need you. I had a conversation with my mom the other day about my children, and she was asking how they doing. I said, Mom, I'm tired, but they're doing well. She said, you've done a lot of hard work. I said, I know. My mom said, imagine if you had just kicked all your children out before they were ready. Because some of them, it took a lot longer to become emotionally ready for the world. The world can be tough out here. Even the older ones, some of them, it took them longer to be emotionally, psychologically, financially, and physically ready. Some of them just weren't ready. My mom asked me, aren't you glad you didn't give into societal pressure? I said, Mom, I felt pressure from my family. When you gonna let them kids go? From my husband passed. When you gonna get a man? Men trying to court me. Yeah, I like you. You're a good, strong woman. You took care of your husband, blah, blah, blah. But you still really connected to your family. Yes, my bloodline. I can agree that at some point, I need to step back. But the conversation was, Mom, yes, I am so glad I had pressure all around me. Let them kids go. But I know a parent knows each and every one of their children. I said I had to make a conscious decision to make certain sacrifices, not put my whole life on hold, because I wanted a college education. I'm very college educated. I wanted to work out. I got gym memberships. I've worked out through the years all my life, even if it was just in front of the TV or the computer. I don't watch TV anymore, but computer doing tapes and aerobics or just walking outside. I got my spirituality from wherever I could get it. So I took care of myself, but my children, my family, my bloodline was a priority for me. I said, Mom, I was pressured on every side. Let them kids go. They're adults. They weren't ready. She said, well, she asked about one particular child. I said, Mom, now that child is thriving. Mom said, imagine if you had put that child out before that child was ready. So my point is, family, we don't have a government anymore. The Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine. That's the doctrine that gave the government unlimited powers to do whatever they wanted to do. And what they do with that information, they downsize the government. People lost their jobs. So yeah, we're gonna all be wealthy, but who's gonna manage the wealth? How are you going to disseminate the wealth? How do you know how to steward the wealth? Do you know how to protect the wealth? Well, then I can plug in my book. I wrote a book called The Silver Legacy that will be out this summer that teaches about accumulating wealth, managing wealth, protecting wealth, and family governance, having family meetings to teach your family values around wealth and to even ask them their values around wealth and develop their values around wealth. I am a wealth ambassador, and Orisha Sloan made me the wealth ministry of wealth. So this is where the elders come in. We have to start doing our job. The government doesn't exist. Donald Trump is the last president. Countries are not buying up United States debt or treasury anymore. United States treasury bonds. So now the government cannot afford to bring people from abroad and give them citizenship and benefits. Did you know, since we're speaking of people from abroad, there's different data, 80 to 90% of the motels are owned by East Indians with the last name of Patel. That means it's one family. They come from one specific city in India. Now, mainstream media spin it like they're farmers. They're just poor people. But the people in the comment section from the videos I was reading was like, no, that family, a lot of them are actually cartel. So 80 to 90% of them come from the Patel family. They own the motels in America. How is that possible? We won't even get into who owns the gas stations, who owns the beauty supply places, who owns the nail salons, who owns the restaurants. The government even recruited doctors, nurses, teachers, and gave all them money and access to our trusts so they can enrich themselves and their bloodline, many of whom are cartel members or from the highest of class in their country. The whole story that they came here with, a dollar and a dream, for the most part, is a lie. L-I-E. There's a word people don't want to hear. A fabrication, a story, untruth. Now, the ones that did come here for a better opportunity, we understand, we overstand. It's just that the time is up. The government doesn't have the money. And And the indigenous people have reclaimed their republic, their lawful government, their states, and their land. Indigenous people have been fighting with the government, the United States Incorporated, for years, since the 1800s. We didn't take them to the Supreme Court. We went to the world courts. Look up Empress Bertiasi L. Gostin Turner Bay. One of her ancestors, his last name is Turner, his first name escapes me, took the government to court over these lands in the 1800s to the world courts. This is why presidents from all over the world were saying, Black people, wake up. And even Trump said Black people need to understand their history, because if they don't, they're going to continue to struggle. Some people took offense to that. I said, amen, sir. Tip in the hat. Because the Black people that are called Black, that was a status. Y'all know this by now. Means you have no standing in law, means you're dead. But they are the indigenous people. They're the only true Americans. Either you're American or you ain't. United States citizen does not make you American. I'm sorry, they lied. This is why citizenship is being done away with. They lied. You can be a citizen or a slave of the United States Incorporated or chattel property of the corporation. That does not make you American. They lied. They lied about everything. They need to fix up the mess that they did in other people's countries, because now they're sending people back home. But all those people that made a lot of wealth off of us in our state, in our lands, and are accessing our Social Security numbers that's attached to central banks all over the world, we know now, and access our birth certificate bond. Now they can use that money to go and make their countries great again. United States citizenship is not the same as American. There's an 1800 and a 1700 definition of American. Copper-colored races encountered by Europeans, but now applied to Europeans. Either you're American or you're a United States citizen, or you're undocumented national from somewhere else. But a citizen is not an American, and a citizen does not have the same rights as Americans, because only the republic and the ancestors that created the republic, who is we the people? Who is we the people that created the republic? The Americans, the copper-colored races discovered here by Christopher Columbus. They have rights afforded by the republic. Everybody else got privileges from the United States Incorporated that no longer exists. They lied to everybody. Naturalization, nationalization. Yes, the Constitution says that the Congress can provide provisions for how somebody can become naturalized, but they didn't initially and originally state what those provisions would be. Then you have to ask yourself, which Constitution are we speaking about? Are we speaking about the Constitution for the Republic that said that Congress can set out ways to make somebody naturalized? Or are we talking about the Constitution of the United States Incorporated that's now defunct? Those are the questions that's being fleshed out right now. Birthright, citizenship, naturalization, DACA, nationalization, all that is under question, because anything afforded by or created by the United States Incorporated that no longer exists, that was found by the Supreme Court of the United States to be unconstitutional, unlawful, and treasonous, it's gone. It's insolvent. Nobody's buying their treasury bonds. They no longer exist. So people that are like, I'm a legal American, that's no such thing. You're a legal United States citizen, which means you're a chattel property of the United States Incorporated, meaning you're a slave. There are people that's on these lands that have indigenous blood that look all type of ways, that have all hues, that look European, that look like they're Africanoid or indigenous. They're still, they have American blood. That one drop rule, it applies. Now I bet you a lot of people gonna be tethering themselves to so-called Black people. Now I bet you're gonna be like, I'm one of y'all. But people that came here to have a good opportunity, I pray, I hope that they made enough to take care of their bloodline back home when they return. Because it's a new day. Empress Verdiasi Gosselin L. Turner Bay won her claim. She said the Louisiana Purchase, which was a great part of this landmass. And then there was another person that said that they took the United States Incorporated to court, said that it was over 1 million acres of land here that belonged to the indigenous people that has to be returned. Yes, they won their claim. When you return the land back to the indigenous people, everybody else that's been staking their claim to the land has to return home. That's why the Siberians, misnomered as Native Americans, the squatters on the land who say they're Indians, some of which did mix with our bloodline, some of them didn't. They crossed the Bering Strait. President Trump said, I'm sorry that you were granted birthright citizenship and you were called the Native American indigenous people erroneously, but you're not Indian. You got to go back home. They're being deported, some of them. It's not because somebody's trying to be racist or mean or disrespectful. It's that we had an unlawful enemy on our territory that allow other people to come here after they wrecked their homes and their nations, to come here to take the benefits of the indigenous people who are classified as and treated as, because they were prisoners of war, which is why, as Sheikh Jacob Bey told us, you see all those prisoner of war flags hanging at federal buildings and courthouses. And what does it say right underneath that black and white prisoners of war flag? I'm not going to bring it up. I'm going to let people do their research. It says, you prisoners of war, MIA, you are not forgotten. We're not going to forget the prisoners of war from abroad that lost their lives in war. And we're not going to forget the ones over here. Why is it that when I talk about the Black folk, the indigenous, Aboriginal, real American, as being prisoners of war and MIA, some people take offense. Oh, no, they're not talking about you guys. They're talking about the ones abroad, because people have gotten so comfortable with disrespecting indigenous, Aboriginal Americans here, even though they got all the benefits, all the treatment they wanted, all the money, all the wealth, access to the government benefits, riding in their Bentleys and in their Porsches and still getting welfare checks. They've been so comfortable mistreating us that some of them just act like they can't help it. They don't even want me to tell indigenous people, you're the indigenous, wake up. Black is a classification, meaning you have no legal standing, meaning you're dead. You're not dead. Wake up. You are the American. This is why people all over the world. Trump said it. Black folk need to know their history. Russia said it. Putin said it. He opened up vaults and said the people in the Bible, the Jews had woolly hair, nappy hair, Africanoid or thick indigenous features. They were Black. You're Black. Make the connection. The Bible was talking about you. People like, oh, Putin don't know what he's talking about. He was like, I've been waiting for y'all to take over your government because we're tired of dealing with the United States Incorporated. And the people behind them that's pulling the strings, some of which are more, some of which are not. Stand up, wake up. Now Dr. Pruitt is saying, wake up and get your families in order. And you have people online saying, you're too harsh. Watch your delivery. Be nicer. Why are you yelling? Because people been patting you on the back and holding you by the hand too long and pacifying you and giving you lollipops while the kids suffer. The children. Many of them can't read. So they're like, forget it. Many of them involved in gangs, shooting up, having sex. Many of them aren't, but listen to the public school teachers online, see what they got to say about it and how many of them are quitting. Then you had, what's his name? The Colombian president in November 2025 say in front of the whole world at the United Nations in the middle of a speech, Black people are the only true indigenous people of the Americas. And people are like, what did he just say? But you've been having people, Kim Jong-un wouldn't deal with the United States Incorporated either because he was waiting for the real government to stand up. What's your point, Pruitt? My point is, how are you going to run a government if you can't even run your house? If you can't even run your own life? If you've been doing a good job of parenting, grandparenting, running your life, running your business, great. You'll be the mentors. You'll be the business owners. Because here's the thing, if you can't steward your own life and your own child and your own home, you won't steward the money well or the wealth well. It will run right out of your hand. So we got to do better as a nation. I'm talking about all nations all over the world, because some of y'all have left your family. I know people who left their children back in their homeland while their children are hungry because they want an opportunity in America so bad that when America sent out the call and gave them the opportunity to come over here on a humanitarian visa for 2 years, while they were here, they partied it up, played it up, maybe sent a package here or there. But the children are like, when you coming home? Why am I still here? And then when the years are up, the visa is up, they so hell-bent on being in America, living on somebody else's land, somebody else's territory, accessing the American dream that was for Americans, that they will go against the law. I follow the immigration attorneys online, and some of them are really panicking. They're saying, oh, you can't lie anymore on your asylum papers. No, don't put, and you have people in the comment section, well, if they ask me if I ever overstayed my visa, can I say no if I really did overstay my visa? And an immigration attorney, the days of doing that are over. They'll flag you. They know we can't do that anymore. But you can join my lawsuit and we can sue the United States government, but it's going to be tough under Trump. People have literally and I get it. Some of them like, I overstayed because I didn't want to go back home. It was too hard. And I get it. I can't act like I don't get it. There are some things I don't get, though. I don't get how you can leave your whole family behind. I just don't. Because some people actually won a lottery, sold all their home, all their land, or got government loans to either play the lottery to get to America, sold everything to pay the cartel to get to America. And now some of the people being deported, like, if I had just kept that money here, if I had just kept my land here, because other than food and shelter, what do you need? But see, the television told everybody, because when I go abroad, they want to know, do you know Jay-Z and Beyonce? What? No. Well, you're rich, so they'll exploit you as an American when you go abroad. Some people will. Now that the government is shut down, guess what? You got to deal with your children. Now that the schools, you don't believe me? The schools are shutting down. That's why the Department of Education is shut down. You will have private schools and maybe some charter schools, maybe a few schools that will remain, that's state funded. We're going to have to deal with our children now. You know, those of us that were just chilling and hanging out and having a good time and, can't stand our children and getting us sad and upset because they home from school now, act like we can't stand our children. You don't think your child hear you when you say, oh my God, y'all don't have school today? You don't think they can't feel that energy? I get it. I'm an adult. Here's the thing. It's hard being a parent. It's challenging being a grandparent. It's challenging trying to figure out how you're going to manage your life, work, and your families. But it's worth it. Hang in there. Hang in there. Do what you have to do. Correct the mistakes you made. Apologize to your family if that's in order. Take accountability. Get your family in order. Restore your marriage, your covenant relationship, if it's possible. If not, at least have a good relationship. Even if the other party is hard to deal with, do your part. Because the children need both parents to be active and to at least get along. If you have elders out there, get along with them. If your mom and dad made mistakes, do all you can. Although I'm a proponent of I'm really a proponent of the parent getting it right. I am, because I'm a parent. It's my responsibility. I'm the adult. But if you're the child and you're the more mature one, do all you can to get along with them. Because you only got one biological mother. You only got one biological father. Baby, when they're gone, they're gone. And it's hard to bring any relationship back because they're not here. They're on the other side. My daddy suffered with drugs most of his life from the time he was a teenager. I don't even know how he got on drugs when he had two intact parents who raised me and my my cousins, we of course my mom and dad did too, but my grandparents, it wasn't for them. They were the foundation. When it was too much for my mom, my grandma and grandpa took over. Like I can't even imagine where I would be. But because he was strung out on drugs, the drugs controlled him. He couldn't make good decisions. This man was a vegan and he was a runner. He was in perfect physical health outside of drugs. My brother's a runner. I'm athletic. I've gotten away from doing as much as I used to. I used to be a runner. We got that from my dad. I'm vegetarian, vegan on some of my good days. My dad was a vegan. He ate well. He wouldn't eat any meat products. He drank clean water. He didn't even drink alcohol most of the time, unless he was strung out. But the drugs he couldn't shake. And I could not understand that. What is wrong with you? I would say to myself. I knew better than to say that to him. But my cousin, who lived next door to me, was a drug and alcohol counselor. She said, Kia, it's a sickness. You got to learn how to, you got to be more gentle, more understanding and compassionate. That was her life. She knew and she understood. I was like, I can't get it. He got kids. What is he doing? Then I went to college and I became a drug and rehabilitation counselor myself to understand it. And I did economics, psychology, sociology, and political science as well. But I wanted a master's degree in counseling and I did it. I achieved that. What I learned is when people start taking drugs and they experiment it, your brain actually develop, I'm gonna just make it in simple terms, your brain develop pockets or these holes that now need the drug in order to survive. I never understood that. I never knew that. So you can take one hit, especially in your formidable years, in your teen, your young adult, and then now your brain starts to need it in order to function. That's crazy to me. But these beings that created the drug, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to create a drug that matched to certain bloodlines and matched to certain genetic DNA, genetic codes. So that's why you have indigenous people strung out on alcohol, people classified as Black strung out on crack, people classified as Caucasian or white strung out on heroin. I'm just throwing things out there. People from certain bloodlines in the mountains strung out on meth, amphetamines. They knew they created it for certain bloodlines. And then they put those drugs in your communities. But my cousin said, Kia, I don't care that this is beyond your comprehension. I'm speaking into your spirit. That's your father. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have life. You get yourself together and you find a way to make it right. This is my cousin who is 1 year younger than me. Did I say, don't talk to me that way? You need to watch your delivery. You need to be sweeter and understanding, compassionate. I shut my mouth and I listened. She was speaking into my spirit. Find a way to get along. Find a way to have a relationship with him because he is sick and he can't help it. If he could, you see the man crying all the time. You see the man, he do well one day and then he might have a bad memory or he might feel bad because he wasn't there for you the way he feels he should have been. And then he'll take another hit and then the cycle continues. Find a way, Kia Pruitt, to have a relationship with your father the best way you can, even though he's in that predicament. I was a young man. I got married at 18. My husband loved me so much. He and our college friend Stanley. Hey, Stanley Blackman, if you hearing, I just saw Stanley and his wife, beautiful wife, the other day. He's like, you remember when you were like 15 because you were going with Doug before y'all got married, and we drove you all the way to Cleveland because y'all had moved to Portsmouth, Ohio to find your daddy all those times. I said, yes, thank you. You are a great friend. Because my cousin told me to find a way. You and my husband, even when he was my boyfriend, and then when my husband became 20 and I was 18, we got married. Y'all drove me to Cleveland. My daddy was on drugs. I'm not telling everybody to do this, but find a way. I would look for my daddy. I had protection. I had my husband's college friend, and my husband, sometimes his brothers, sometimes my brother. We would go East 79th and Kinsman. If you from Cleveland, you know that's the rough hood. Knocking on door. You seen Dave? You seen Uncle Dave? That's what they used to call him. Fine man. The women loved Uncle Dave, but he only had 2 kids that we know about. He said he only had two, me and my brother. Nobody else came up and said that, well, he is so. But looking for my father, building a relationship with him, even in his predicament, even in his situation. Hey, daddy, how you doing? I brought you some clean clothes today. Dougie, who was my boyfriend then when he became my husband, brought you some food. I love you. Give him some hugs, some kisses. Here's some pictures of your grandkids. If I could bring them to come meet me at grandma's house, at Big Mama house, and I'll bring the kids there. Let my babies have a relationship with you. When I had decisions to make, he might have been a drug addict, but he was still a man. He still understood. My father graduated from high school with honors, so he was smart. Went to college when he was in prison, so he was smart. He just made bad decisions. And they got a hold of him. He couldn't shake them. But my cousin, who didn't care about my feelings, said one day you gonna wish you had a relationship with your daddy. Do what you gotta do. Get yourself together. I'm not here to be your friend. She was my best friend and my cousin. I ain't here to be your friend. I'm here to tell you what's right. So one day my daddy got real sick. Complications from drugs. I got a call. He was in the hospital. I was like, dang it. I called my best friend Boosie, who was my cousin as well. He what? She said, the only way you know is because I called the family and told him to call you and get your raggedy blankety blank up here. I said, I'm tired of this. Either he in the hospital or on drugs or on the street or this and that. I'm tired of this. And I'm crying. I'm like, when is he going to get it together? She said, get yourself together and get your blankety blank up here. You lucky you did what I told you to do years ago and establish a relationship with him. So now when I called the hospital, they had your number. I had your number and I gave it to him. Now your daddy is calling on you. Get your raggedy tail up here and stop crying. Wipe your eyes. Wipe the snot from your nose. Grow up and be a woman. You got kids sitting up talking about how long it's going to take. Well, you don't know what that man's been through, but thank God you build a relationship with him. Now he's in trouble and he needs you. Get your ass up here. She didn't care about, talk to me the right way. We need to grow up. I went there. My dad was in the hospital. I found out he was expiring. I said, Daddy Tim's going to be up here. My brother met me up there. He talked to us. You know, we laughed, we cried. We knew he was dying. We had to make some hard decisions. Dad told us what he wanted us to do. I was like, wow, Dad, you look great. He said, yeah, I've been sober since I've been in the hospital these last couple months. I better be great. My mind is clear. My body, all my organs are failing, but my mind is clear. We had a conversation with our dad. He and my brother already had a great relationship. But it came down to it where everybody left and went home. And I was the only one free enough to stay with him for he was in hospital the last couple weeks. In the hospital, in hospice, when my dad was exiting out, slowly but surely, I had a conversation with the chaplain. She said, I like what I see between you and your daddy, but you can do more. I was like, ma'am? She said, you can do more. She said, you notice how he's in and out. He's ready to go, but there's something you haven't done yet. So I went in the room and I said, Daddy, I'm so glad that we had a relationship along the way. I've been angry for many years. I'm glad we worked through that, but I need to tell you that I forgive you. And he said, thank you, baby, because I see Mama, I see Daddy. He hadn't been talking. I was just talking to him. At this point, he had stopped. I was like, did you just say thank you? He rose up and sat up and said, thank you, baby. He said, I see my parents. He said, hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. I'm coming. I just had to talk to my baby. And I was like, tears just start flowing out of my eyes. I said, Daddy, you're talking. You're moving. How are you doing that? Love, forgiveness, compassion. The last bit of breath he had, he got up and said, I'm ready. He said, Eddie, that's his older brother. Thank you for taking care of mom and dad. I'm coming. I was shaking. He said, thank you for forgiving me, baby. I ran out the room. I ran to the chapel. I'm crying. I'm bawling. I'm running. I'm falling, running. People looking at me. I'm like, Reverend so-and-so was a woman, little European white woman. Chaplain, Reverend, I can't remember her name. He's talking. And I'm crying. I told him, I did what you told me to. I told him I forgive you. I told him. She said, you ain't done. You talking about watch your delivery? She said, you ain't done. You told him you forgive him. But have you asked him? To forgive you? For all the years that you held anger in your heart? Yeah, you reestablished a relationship with him. Did you ask him to forgive? I was like, no, man, why would I do that? She said, for you, for the sake of you and your growth and development, you need to ask your father for forgiveness. And for the sake of the relationship that you're going to have with him when he's on the other side, see, because you don't understand right now, you on this side. And maybe nobody ever told you this, but I'm going to tell you this. You need to get your relationship right with your father for you, because you need it. Your children need it. Your bloodline needs it. You're going to need him to watch over you one day. And he's going to need it in order to ascend, because souls get trapped. That's what they don't teach you in church. Souls get trapped. Energy gets trapped. But there's power of love, the power of forgiveness, the power of empathy can release a trapped soul. Get back in that room and do what you need to do to complete the mission. You talking about somebody shaking in tears. By this time, I'm bawling. I can't even sit in the chair. My elder, who is a Caucasian woman, is telling me, get your act together, get back in that room and make it right, and ask your father to forgive you, because you've held anger in your heart for many years and you can't grow. Oh, you're a good Christian. You've done a lot of good work. I heard about you. I know your family. They sing your praises, but you ain't done. And you're not done growing, and your growth and development is stunted because you can't forgive your daddy who made mistakes, because he's human and flesh and blood. You're going to call on somebody one day and you're going to say, watch over me. And while you're praying to God and listen and asking God to call on you, you know who's going to deliver the answer? Your ancestors. And I'm sitting up here like, wow, I'm bawling. 2012, November. I go in the room, stumbling, crying. I'm shaking. I can't believe this woman just really told me off, but she was talking to my spirit. The same way my cousin Bootsy did when she said, get your raggedy tail here. And through the years said, make a relationship right with your daddy. I sit in front of my daddy who's laying out in the bed. Now he's comatose again, not talking. I'm crying and I'm crying. And I'm like, I know you can't hear me, daddy. I know you can't hear me. I touch his chest. You barely breathing. Thank you. When I said, I forgive you, you said you received my forgiveness. Now you can go. I'm crying. But the chaplain said that I'm not done, and I'm not. I confess, I've been angry. I've been sad. When I was this years old and that this guy did this to me, I wanted to call you, but you were strung out on the street and I couldn't call you. So I was mad and I was angry. And I brought the kids to see you, but I was still angry. And I was still sad. And I was still mad. And I still was wondering, why can't you get it right? Why you do me so wrong? Daddy, I got one last thing to say. Daddy, my kids are grown now and I'm in my 40s and I want to make it. I want my scales, when my heart is weighed on the scales of my eye, I don't want them to say that my heart is light as a feather. If there's a heaven and it's true, my soul can go to heaven. I want to make it. If the principles of my yada are right, I want to make, and I'm crying, I'm doing all this. I think he can't hear me. I can't feel a heartbeat. It might be too late, Daddy. I got one last thing to say. I'm doing all this confessing. He opens his eyes. Yeah. What is it, baby? You can hear me? What is it? I said, Daddy, I'm sorry. Will you please forgive me for the years of anger and disappointment, the years of not understanding? Something happened that you tried drugs and you got stuck, but you still my daddy. I love you. You taught me how to eat well. I'm a vegan because of you. You taught me how to run and take care of my body. You taught me how to respect my elders. You told me that the first law of nature was self-preservation. You taught me the first thing to do in the morning is not put food in my mouth, but if I'm going to put something in, let it be water. You taught me how to be strong in my practices. He was in the Nation of Islam. No matter what religious or spiritual belief I had, be strong and faithful. There is some good in every parent. You just have to recognize it. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt is talking to you now. I said, Dad, you taught me all these things. You've been a good father. When I brought my husband to you, you told me what you liked and what you didn't like. You say he kind of aloof, ain't he? You got to deal with that aloofness, figure out how to work that out. But he seemed to be a decent man. That's who you love. I'll accept him. Do what you got to do for them babies. You taught me all those things, Daddy. And all I could think about was how you wasn't there this damn that time. I was hurting, Daddy, but I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? The last bit of strength he had, lift up his body. Yeah, baby, I forgive you. I love you. Thank you, baby. I said, Daddy, are you about to go? He said, Kia Marie, I love you. Thank you. Closed his eyes, laid down, and never spoke again. Shortly after he passed away. That was 2012. I miss my father. I wish he could see my grandbabies. I wish he could see me now as Dr. Kia Pruitt on social media, teaching the world about wealth, family, wealth, and legacy. I wish he could see that I'm still practicing eating clean, drinking water, practicing self-preservation, getting along with, and how I got along with my children's father and took care of him until he passed. All the things he taught me, I wish he could see. You only get one. But I am so grateful that I didn't dismiss him, cancel him out, or let the opportunity to amend a relationship with him slip away. I am so grateful that my cousin Bootsy called me through the years and said, you only got one, Daddy. Work it out. Find a way. If he's on drugs and he's in the street, you got male protection. Find your daddy. And when he does call you, act like you got some sense and have him to meet you at Big Mama house and eat with him and celebrate with him and thank God for the few minutes, few days, few hours, or few weeks you have with him. Through the years, she told me that. I'm so grateful when he was sick and dying, she called me. And when I was doing all that crying, but he did this to me and he wasn't there, and he get your raggedy tail up here and shut up and grow up and act like you a grown woman. See, we elders need to stop playing games and instruct the young people. Live a certain life before them so that they can honor and respect and reverence us when we give a word out of our mouths. Because instruction is just not just about what you say, it's what you do, how you treat people, what you watch, what you wear, what you drink, what you smoke. Here's so many people like, I don't care about what you think. I do. I care about what my children think, my grandchildren, the people in my community, the people, the merchants. I even told my grown children, watch the way you treat the merchants, even if they disrespect you, because this is a part of our community. We all live in the same community. They're part of the village. I don't care if they even come from, if they're an immigrant and they have a business in this community, treat them with respect, even if they disrespect you. Because I have to have a relationship with them if I'm going to do business. Now, the adult thing to do is say, I didn't like the way you did this or that. I just want to bring this to your attention. Since I patronize you, I would appreciate if you do this, that, and the third, or I'm not going to be able to patronize you. We have to watch the way we behave in front of these young people. If you are 40 and above, somebody's looking up to you. If you're 30 something, because 30-year-olds have families, 20-something-year-olds. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to make it right with my daddy. And now that he's gone, I'm not the one that's crying all the time. Oh, I wish I had done that. When I was at the funeral, I wasn't falling all out and yelling and screaming and hollering. I was at peace. I missed my daddy. I wish I could have prolonged his life, but I was at peace, and I'm at peace. Sometimes I still, honestly, I'm human, say, I wish he was here. I wish he wasn't struggling with them drugs, but I can hear my cousin's voice in my head, grow up. You're an adult. You know life is hard. You know people make mistakes. You know people use certain things to cope, just like people smoke weed. For me, it might be eating potato chips or drinking coffee in order to, to make it through the day. We all have something. If you needed grace, why can't you extend grace? If you needed mercy, if you needed compassion, if I needed grace and mercy and compassion, why can't I extend it? Because the days of going and running to Zaddy, the government, are over. We have to be adults and take back control over our lives and bring our families back together if we want to see society make it. Because people talk about societies and nations, but a society is just a bunch of communities. Societies, I need some tissue. A society is comprised of a bunch of communities. Communities are comprised of what? Tribes and families. So if you want a strong, healthy society, you need strong, healthy communities. If you want strong, healthy communities, you need strong, healthy families. If you want strong, healthy families, you yourself need to be strong and healthy. If you're healthy, stay healthy. If you have good communication skills, sharpen them and teach the younger ones. If you're lacking in certain areas, get it together. We're adults. It is time for us to start acting like adults. Stop crying about and complaining about issues and problems. Stop blaming the government. Stop blaming white supremacy. Stop blaming all these immigrants over here. Stop blaming the dirty Moors. Stop blaming mama. Stop blaming daddy. Stop blaming the husband or the wife or the baby daddy or the baby mama or the children or the worker or the job. Yes, we have the right to, and we're human, to vent and express ourselves and to be upset. But at some point, we have to take accountability for ourselves in our own lives. Again, the government does not exist. Judges are being arrested. You probably cannot read this, but I put it up on my post on my community section. I'll try to read it as much as I can. This letter is from the Honorable Charles Grassley, President pro tempore, United States of America, Washington, D.C., regarding multi-layered restrictions on the removal of Admiralty law judges. So there were restrictions put on the government and that restrictions when they would try to remove judges who are really just administrators or administrative judges. there were restrictions put on them. So at first I had to say, well, who is this Honorable Charles Gracely guy? Because I'm not going to read nothing if he don't matter. He is the president pro tempore of the United States. That is the second highest ranking official of the United States Senate. The second highest ranking official of the Senate who acts as the presiding officer in the vice president's absence wrote this letter. Dear Senator Gracely. Wait a minute, let me see. Did he write this letter? Oh, maybe it was to him. Hold on. Gosh, my computer is acting up. Pursuant to 28 U.S.C., I'm writing to advise you that the Department of Justice has concluded that the multiple layer of removal restrictions for admiralty or administrative law judges, ALJN 5 USC and 7521A, violate the Constitution. I'm writing to advise you that the Department of Justice has concluded that the multi-layers of removal restrictions for administrative judges violate the Constitution. In other words, the restrictions put on the government or anybody that says you cannot remove an administrative law, all those restrictions violate the Constitution. That the department will no longer defend them in court, and that the department has taken that position in ongoing litigation. It goes on. The words are too small for me to read, but I want you to read that. Why is that important? Because now they're removing administrative judges. No more restrictions from removing these people with Esquire behind their name. Attorneys, so-called judges who had to pass a British accredited registry exam. They had to pass the bar because, in essence, by virtue of their job, they were working for the British Crown. Now you're seeing a removal of these judges. So judges that hauled off people in jail, that ruled against you if you violated the statute, codes, and policies of the United States Incorporated, they're being removed. Judges that ruled that fathers have to pay child support, they're being removed. Now, I believe in a man and a woman taking care of their children, but I didn't know that child support was unconstitutional. First of all, you're not supposed to give anybody else's social security number. That's against their laws, but they violate it. So now these judges that were doing that, they're getting removed. Judges that were forcing men to take care of children that don't belong to them, just because he was in a relationship with a woman, married or unmarried, even if those children weren't his, whether she passed them off as his or not, those judges are being removed. They were doing egregious things. Judges that allow people to stay in America beyond their visa, they're being removed. Judges that were here making sure, because they work for the deep state, all these people could come here, take the benefits from our birth security bond, whether they knew it or not. I'm talking about the people that came here. Some of them didn't even know they were accessing our bonds, but they were getting government benefits. Some of them were stealing money from the taxpayers, saying they had daycare centers and other business. I walk around all these businesses that are empty and been empty for years. How? Why? How, Sway? How do we have all these businesses here and many of them are empty? Who's getting paid? Shell businesses. Then the people that bought these businesses or had them when I were trafficking children through them, or just have them as a shell running drugs in and out of these gas stations and hotels, most of whom are not American. When it was time for them, if they ever got in any trouble, the judges would just find a way to keep them here. If they wanted citizenship, they would use the 14th Amendment clause, which was ruled unconstitutional, by the way. But the 14th Amendment clause was added to the Constitution for African-American children at the end of the Civil War. The 14th Amendment was added so that children of African-Americans can be considered a citizen. It's unconstitutional and it makes no sense because you can't be a free white person on the land. That was our classification before they classified as Black. You can't be a citizen when you are, in fact, sovereign to this land. So the 14th Amendment was created for children of African Americans. These judges use that to keep people here and say they have a right to citizenship. Those judges now, they're being removed. Judges that were hiding out, criminals, cartel members, people that were here undocumented or overstayed their visa or unlawful, or those that were here that paid off judges, or those people that stayed, they sought asylum because once your visa is up, this was the game they did. We didn't know it. Just come to America, get here by hook or crook, legally or illegally. If you, then you can just hide out because the government, if you're undocumented, you can still get a law degree. Look it up. You can go to Stanford University and get a law degree as an undocumented student, a whole law degree. You can get a whole college education. You can get houses, food stamps, money. I'm talking hundreds and thousands of dollars per month per person, undocumented and or illegal. But don't worry, you can seek asylum and say you're scared to go back to your country. The judges would just sign off on it. You didn't even have to prove it. And you can stay here as long as you want. Then you can bring all your family members here and do the same thing. While the government gave them businesses, while you had to have good credit, they didn't have to have credit, many of them. While you had to have good credit to buy a house, to get a mortgage, they didn't have to have credit. They can bring a transcript saying that they went to college or not. And guess who gets the minority scholarships? The children of the immigrants. How do you know, Pruitt? Because I work in higher education on 3 different campuses. It was standard procedure in higher education across the nation. Undocumented students get preferential treatment. They get money for education, tuition, academic support programs, housing, and food. And they get TOEFL. They learn English on taxpayers' money, government funding, access to our bonds because they really don't have money. They wasn't using gold and silver. That's money. You can even get a law degree. Well, the judges were allowing that to happen. Now, all of the restrictions that were put in place by the corporation, by the deep state, have been removed because it's been found that that's unconstitutional. And now President Trump is not just removing judges. Look at my video on FBA raids. He's arresting them. Give me 5 more minutes. And he got rid of many judges, immigrant judges. And now he's hiring deportation judges. These will be constitutional judges that understand the Constitution. So people can't they'll try to make you feel bad. Oh, these people been here for so long. Oh, it's just not fair. I get it. What I would say to that is it's really a shame that the government didn't explain that being a citizen is not being American, that's being given privileges is not rights. I've heard people say, I got a right to be here. The rights go to the Americans. You had privileges by the corporation that no longer exists. It was unlawful, unconstitutional, and treasonous, and it will cease to exist. It doesn't exist anymore. We're under a partial government shutdown. They just don't want to come right out and tell you that it doesn't exist anymore. Partial shutdown, all the same thing. People think Donald Trump has lost his mind. No, the republic is being restored to who? We, the people. But don't be mistaken. We, the people, are not just brown. There are people that have indigenous blood that look all kind of ways. That's why the redheads are so the gingers. They happy. It blew my mind that people that redhead didn't know that they 3rd and 4th generation Black, indigenous, Moors, because I was taught that growing up. You got the freckles, that's melanin. You got red, fiery hair, that's melanin. 3rd generation. Your great-great-grandma was a Moor. Maybe even your great-great. And others, people that are here. But there's a whole lot that are here that will go back to where they came from. because the deep state, United States Incorporated, created these ways of allowing people to come and stay here. Now there's a fight with the government. It ain't with the people, because we didn't have a say in any of it, especially the Americans, the prisoners of war that people classified as Black. We didn't have a say in anything. We understood that we were prisoners of war. Some of them thought they were slaves from Africa. That's okay. Now they know they've awakened. We didn't invite anybody here. We didn't say what the government could do. We didn't say what they couldn't do. In fact, most of us fought with immigrants for the right to remain here. We fought with the feminists. We fought with people from the rainbow family. I don't want to be offensive. We fought with when people said don't do Asian hate. That's something I ain't never heard of until somebody made that up during COVID. You had people in Atlanta say, yeah, don't do that because they are nail techs. We fought for the Hispanics during the Brown Revolution. Some people fought during the Civil Rights Movement for so-called Black people. My point is, we didn't have anything to do with this. We didn't invite anybody here. We didn't have nothing to do with the government. But we do know that a lot of people came here and disrespected the Black community. We know that. I don't care what they look like. They make sure you know that there was a delineation. I'm not y'all. Some of them got so bold and brazen that they said, we work better than y'all. Y'all lazy. You're slaves from Africa. Remember all those stories? We know the stories. And even if we didn't know, we know the treatment. We know the N-words we've been called. We know that many of them were briefed, the immigrants, before they came here and told, stay away from us. They can put their businesses in our communities and make money and exploit us, and we can allow ourselves to be exploited. But don't you dare treat them like they're human or be friendly with them. If you get close to some of them, they'll tell you. If you listen to them talk on social media, I was taught to hate Black people. I was taught this. And now it comes to find out that the Black people are the truth. They are the Americans, the original autonomous people. So here's what's going to happen. The land is being returned. The Republic is being restored back to we the people. We will honor the Republic, and we will honor any treaties that we have with people. And we're going to run the government, our governments, common law, well, our communities, our tribes, well. When a republic is restored, people that have their right mind, that know how to operate in integrity, those will be the leaders. No coons that are part of the boule that's going to sell us out and tell us to migrate and might mix with everybody else. Leave your land, your farm, your businesses, and try to mix in with everybody else. No. Anybody that stays over here, they will bring a gold card. They will pay $1 million. They will create businesses, and they can operate in commerce between the indigenous peoples and the other people that operate with integrity here on the lands. But the days of open borders and everybody coming up here and doing whatever they want, committing any crimes, bringing their drug, because they talk about us, but they got drug cartels in Mexico, in Colombia, in Venezuela. Don't play with us. In Somalia, in East India. Because it depends on who you talk about. The ones that run the motels, some of them say they farmers, other ones say they cartel gang members. I'm talking about the ones from India that's over in Asia. By the way, here in America, I've shown you that pyramid many times. The East Indians are at the top of the economic pyramid, bringing over $100,000 per year in a household, well over 100,000. While you got other classification, Filipinos next, this, that. And I've shown you white Americans, the classified, the European and Caucasians in the middle. You got all these other nations above them, right in our country, doing way better than we are. And then more people below us. Second to the bottom are the Mexicans and the other Hispanics. Right at the bottom, Black Americans, good old African American slaves that nobody want to deal with, talk to, or have any relationship with. I'm talking about the mindset. generally, historically. That's changing. It has to change because the indigenous people on this landmass, where everything originated, are waking up. My job is to help us get our minds right because nobody wants to do business with people who are killing their own people. Nobody respects women who unalives their children while it's in the womb under the guise of protection and birth control, or the fact you don't want to have a baby for him even though you lay down and open up your legs to him. Nobody respects a woman who unalives her children. I'm talking about generally speaking. If you want society to respect you, you have to respect yourself. You have to respect your body enough not to just go laying with everything, and respect your womb enough not to get pregnant for everybody. But then even if you do, honor that child that you decided to lay down for and make. Honor that child enough to let him or her come through the gate. But to unalive that child because somebody, your enemy that came on this landmass and made your people prisoners of war, told you that this is birth control and it's your right to unalive your child. We need a mind change, a radical mind change. You let your enemy tell you that if a child is 6 months or younger, it's not a living soul, even though it's breathing and moving in your body. No, I'm not going to be concerned about watch your delivery. You're grown. You was grown enough to lay on your back and spread eagle. You grown enough to receive a message to respect your womb. Thus saith Dr. Kia Pruitt. So if you unaliving your babies, you're disrespecting your elders. You don't love your children enough to raise them honorably and respectfully and in love. And your children are out here killing each other and making babies and making love and sex in the schools. How can anybody respect you? They won't. They don't. So we got to get it together. Somebody got to tell you. You want Pappy Trump to tell you? He literally had to cut off food stamps before you had learned that sugary drinks is unhealthy. Elders have failed you. Pappy Trump had to tell you that energy drinks were full of cow urine, bull urine, and other things, and it's unhealthy for you to wake up. And we can see the parasites in your body screaming because you all online, some of you women, obese, overweight, crying. I can't have my energy drink. They took away my donuts. That's your parasite screaming out, crying. Because we've been feeding them over the years. But Pappy Trump had to cut him off. RFK had to tell you candy is not healthy, it's not real food, cookies, chips, energy drinks, and pop. Because I failed you as an elder. So I'm not just saying that the young people are out of order, the people that didn't know but junk food was junk, called junk for a reason. It has no nutritional value. I'm really disappointed in us elders. Because even though they have TV, we should have turned it off. Even though there's filthy music coming through the airwaves, we shouldn't allow our children to listen to it. I know we're tired. I know we're exhausted. We're too busy working. I get it. Somebody need to come off their job then. Or figure out a way that you can work and take care of the children. Maybe grandma, who's on the other side of the world, grandma, I want to do my own things. I don't want to be around my kids. Well, maybe they will have some respect for you if you had stayed around a little longer rather than chasing men. Maybe grandma and grandpa, you need to come back and help the young people because they got to work to raise the young children. Somebody got to talk to the people and say, get your house in order. The government no longer exists. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to take care of our families. I know I need to stop. I'm on this platform talking too much. Judges are being arrested. President Trump just issued out a peace deal. What's going to happen? Now we're on geopolitical news. What's going to happen with that peace deal that he made with Iran? I don't want to bore you. I can get preachy, and I don't want to do that. Let me see if I can find this peace deal with Iran. There are implications of a peace deal with Iran. No more war. I know the gas prices keep going up and then down, but hopefully all these high prices and high inflation, at some point it will cease. While we're in the middle of this battle, it might go on for a little longer. We got to make it in the interim. Who's going to help you make it if you don't have a covenant relationship with anybody? If we're so easy and quick to cut off people, we can't run to the government. Who's going to help us make it? So with the peace deals, you can tell me in the chat, what do you think the implications are of the peace deals? I thought I had it on I do have it on if you go to my post or the community section, there should be some implications with this peace deal. Okay. Somebody said, get it all out. Thank you, Brother Harold. It be the brothers that be like, you gotta be Big Mama. You gotta, or just be, you're part of the matriarch. You have to love when it's time to love, praise when it's time to praise, give people their flowers and their accolades, say you're doing a great job, and encourage them. And then sometimes you have to bring correction, like, look, we got to get it together. How do you expect anybody to respect you if you don't respect yourself? Here's breaking news. The United States just agreed to lift all sanctions on Iranian oil. Insiders report that peace talks are going better than before, and the final peace deal will be signed this week. Finally, some bullish news for the markets. So the markets will likely be affected by this news. People, so when the news is bad and people are stressed out, sometimes they sell off all their assets, and that's why you may have seen silver and gold go down. The smart people, though, with that type of news actually invest in precious metals because they know that a market that's fluctuating is causing the dollar to decrease in value. So if the dollar, with high inflation, the market's going bad, and the dollar, decreasing in value, people who can't afford to will put their dollars in the precious metals because precious metals maintain their value. But then you have some people that are like, because inflation is so high, gas is so high, prices are so high, all I have is a little silver and gold. My dollar isn't stretching, so I have to sell off my silver and gold or sell one of my properties to pay my bills or to eat. So this is why geopolitical news affects the markets. But with peace deals, you might see gas prices go down. I'm not sure how they're going to do it because they're still controlling things. You might see silver and gold go up in value if everybody's rushing to place their silver and gold, their money into precious metals. Or you can see silver and gold decrease in value. That's not a bad thing. That's a buying opportunity. So do know that these peace talks, they will affect the markets. It's our job and responsibility to stay prepared at all times. All times. You always put yourself in the best position possible to survive any situation. That's why we have Farmer Dre on here to talk about how to exist in the case of an emergency. You can look up my video on EBS, how to prepare for an emergency. Farmer Dre did a great job of talking about how to protect yourself emotionally, how to protect your family, what type of supplies you need. He's got bug out bags that he's going to sell for the Soul family with all the things you need in case the grid go down. You don't know how these peace talks are going to affect the markets. It can affect the markets very good and we can start thriving immediately, or you can have pushback from the deep state and they can push buttons, cause fires, wars, turbulent weather. Their time is up, but they can fight back is my problem. And you need each other to survive during these times. So we got peace talks. We got judges being arrested. We have ET disclosures, pastors all across America, maybe the world, I don't know. They had a secret meeting. They were given instructions. You know, the pastors that said there's a separation between church and state. Yeah, they have a 501c3. There's no true separation. You know, there's no true separation. When COVID happened, I bet you they were all given notice to shut down them church doors. And they did. There was one church in Florida that didn't, and he suffered severe consequences, but he's a conservative. He dealt with the blow, the pushback. Most pastors, when they said close them doors, the same pastors that told you that if you worship at home instead of coming to church, you were going to hell or God was going to judge you. Yeah, they had their doors closed during COVID. Because Zaddy, the government told them close them doors. And some of them got money to open up clinics, then put it right on their church lawn to give you the you know what? Churches, pastors. And some of them led protests. And some of the protests were not nonviolent. Some of them were very violent. Because they get, many of them, if not all of them, if they have a 501c3, get some type of notification. So we know during COVID, they got notification to close them doors because all them doors were closed. And the same ones that told you better not look at TV or your cell phone or computer on God's holy day, whether it was Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday, depending on what religion you were in, boy, they sure told you to go online and worship on the Sabbath and on Sunday morning during COVID, because they got word from Zaddy. Shut them doors. Well, now Zaddy gave them another word, another directive. During this secret meeting, you see right here, in a secret meeting, pastors were warned to disclose that extraterrestrial life was real. And we'll end with that. They were told to prepare the people because the government is about to disclose not only arrests, not only the deep state, not only guillotines and people being shipped off to Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay. The government is about to disclose that all this was a sham. And I'm about to meet some of the extraterrestrial life that exists. I'll just show you a snippet of it and we can end right there. A lot is happening. A lot is changing. I think you would want your family to be together while these disclosures and announcements come out, because we've been having fun. We've been playing around and we love to consume. People call Americans the consuming nation. Consume, consume, consume. Buy, buy, buy. Eat, eat, eat. Drink, drink, drink. Sex, sex, sex. Party, party, party. Play, play, play. And while we playing, other people been building. While we concerned about the weekend, other people concerned about what's going to happen in 100 years, 1,000 years, 5,000 years with my bloodline or to my bloodline. And you have some people that were so concerned not only about their bloodline, but about humanity, that now there's secret meetings being held about how those funds are going to be released, that they were actually accumulating to deliver and rescue and liberate humanity while humanity was playing around. I'm going to go to, this is under my video section, not the live, but the video section of the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. You'll see a blue thumbnail that says ETs are real. I'm going to show you just a little bit of what they're saying about this secret meeting that was held. And I'm going to listen to a longer meeting where a pastor actually gives his testimony about what happened to that meeting. And I might come back later to tell you all about that. What'd you say? Lots of families will crash out when they get the news. Yes. I want my family to be with me. My family will be with me when they get all this news about what's been going on. I've been preparing them, teaching them, instructing them. And even if you don't know how to say things or what to say exactly, it's still good to have a relationship with them. excuse me, so that when it's time for you all to get the news together, they will honor you and respect you enough to listen. My children honor and respect me because it took me because I put in a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work, a whole lot of work, a whole lot of things I didn't know if I wanted to do, but I did it for the sake of family and community. Some things that make sense to other people. But when my husband got sick, it didn't make sense to a lot. But why are you still like taking care of him and doing certain things and some of the things was beyond my scope and it was way more than what my family could handle. I looked those kids in the eyes and I was like, what's in the best interest of these children? I'll just leave it at that. There's some things, some people will be so quick to say, I can't, I won't, this happened, that happened. Okay, well, maybe you can or you won't. We respect that. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything that doesn't make sense, especially to you or your family. Some things, though, if we can just put our pride aside, really, and think about the future and the bloodline, some things we might be able to do. Like I said, hang in there. It's tough. It's tough being an elder, putting certain parts of your life on hold or putting a container around so that you can focus on the family. It's tough. I want to go out salsa dancing on Saturday night. It's something I enjoy doing. I'm not good at it at all. I had an instructor that was great. My family is so-called Latina. Some of my family is in Colombia. Ancestors. They married people right off the the Blackfoot tribe, right off the reservation. But moving to certain type beats is in my blood. But some things are lawful. Some things are lawful, but they're not expedient. Even though it's lawful and you can do it, it might not be necessary. It might not be expeditious. Let me look up the word expedient. Expedient, convenient, practical, altogether possible. Some things may not be convenient or practical. So a lot of things are lawful. You can do it, but it doesn't make sense. I do take time for myself to do certain things, but is it necessary right now? I have several men that's on my show that say, I'm not in a relationship right now. I want to be in a relationship, but it's not expedient. It's not the priority right now because I'm helping to save humanity. I've heard Chief Max say that he's doing trust and he's doing conversations and he's teaching people about, how to protect their assets. You have Chief Rod Hayes, who's teaching people how to operate with integrity. He's teaching them about what's going on geopolitically, how to prepare your family. These men are like, I got to focus on the task at hand because it's lawful for me to be in a relationship and to be married and to focus on some of these things, but it's not expedient. It's not a priority at this juncture in my life because some of them were like, if I had a relationship, I couldn't be on the Dr. Kia Pruitt show because I ain't got time for somebody to say, why you on that woman show? I ain't got time for somebody to think, oh, y'all must be in a relationship. Why are you talking to this lady on the phone? They have said, my mission is delivering God's people, their most highest people from all over the planet, regardless of their bloodline, their nationality, their ethnicity. Elders have said, I would like to have fun, hang out, be with my friends, travel, and I will do that when it's time. Some things are lawful, but they may not be expedient. They might not be a priority. What's the priority? When the whole world is stuck suffering and have been under enslavement, that might not be the best time to just shake your hands, wipe the dust off your hands and your feet and say, forget these kids that they done drove me nuts. Because if the world shuts down and you're on the other side of the world, who gonna help you? Who gonna take care of them grandbabies? You feel me? All right, I've been on here too long. Extraterrestrial life is being unveiled. So let's hear what they say briefly. Y'all know I don't do nothing brief. I don't do anything brief. Let me act like I'm college educated.
Changing event. In fact, many of them are all over social media right
Let me see what they say.
now, being told to prepare for a Bible-changing event. In fact, many of them are all over social media right now, and some are kind of freaking out over the information that they just heard. Now, according to them, there was a secret meeting in Tennessee with the 6 of them. They were not allowed to bring any community still, whether or not they're still employed with the government, nobody knows. And reportedly also one congressman called into the meeting, and that was actually Eric Burleson. He's a congressman from Missouri. He called in. He doesn't know who was in attendance or what was said, but he called in and made a statement. But anyway, all of this is now going viral on the internet in light of the UAP UFO disclosure that is up and coming. And this is what that meeting was all about. Now, before I even dive into this meeting.
Yeah, before she dives into that meeting, did you all see that video of President Trump with some being that looked like it's an extraterrestrial? It could be fake though. But I will say he had a picture, that same picture up on his Truth Social of him with an ET. So now I think I put it on my the video on my Dr. Kia Pruitt YouTube channel.
What makes this even more interesting is Kash Patel just came out and dropped a bombshell of his own when he was in an interview with Sean Hannity. And I'm going to let Kash Patel tell you the dealings here. But here he is talking about UFOs.
Yeah, let Kash Patel talk. Speaking of the Patels, did you know that the 80 to 90% of the Indians that own motels, 80% to 90% of the motels in America are owned by Indians from Asia, that East India? Did you know they all have the same last name, Patel, according to data? Many records, all the same family, allegedly. Interesting. And somehow they rise up the ranks in politics as well.
With Sean Hannity. Take a listen to what he says here.
Every other president before President Trump could have said, hey, let's look at that and get the American people the information. What did he do? He stood up an interagency process with Department of War leading that effort to get out the documentation related to everything that you're talking about, not just from the FBI, from the IC and everywhere else. And so what do? We already delivered our first tranche of information to that committee, and they're going to be publicly releasing this information very soon.
They are going to be publicly releasing the information very soon.
Are y'all ready to hear about extraterrestrial life? Some of us are. We've been waiting on this.
In other words, Kash Patel said, okay, Donald Trump, you want UFO files? Here's what we have from the FBI. Here is our first trunks of information. Now, there are reports that we're going to be getting this information in July. Hopefully it comes sooner, but considering the history, it could be prolonged as well. But either way, the president has his hands on some of that information. And let's just hope it's not like the last file release from the FBI. But either way, that is what we have. Now, kind of moving on to the pastors here, the big question is, okay, Kash Patel has delivered a trove of information to the FBI. I still want information from Area 51 and other things. But anyway, I digress. With all of that in the hands of the president, we now have pastors all over saying, you know, we just had this secret meeting. They're about to disclose something huge. Take a look at this. And this is on Daily Mail. Religious leaders told to prepare now for UFO disclosure to unleash Bible-changing revelations. Now, again, this included pastors, and approximately 6 pastors were in on this. And I'm going to read you that part. This reported meeting involved approximately 6 Christian leaders, including Bishop Alan Ditto of Revival Nation Church, who confirmed he was part of the extraordinary gathering. Ditto actually said this. It seems like half of the dozen people were gathered in an Airbnb in the mountains of Tennessee discussing an investigation that's going on in the U.S. government against crimes they have committed in the process of retrieving and reverse engineering technology from non-human intelligence. I believe UFOs are legit. I believe they're interdimensional. I believe they're fallen angels, demons, and the whole 9 yards. But anyway, I do believe that they're using that technology and reverse engineering it. But he goes on to state that the meeting also went forward to discuss the propaganda plan that was in place leading up to disclosure. The pastor added in a March 7th live stream on YouTube. So there you go. Now here is the pastor, Alan Ditto, who made that statement that I just stated. He's got this whole video on it here. And he basically says, I was brought into a private meeting with other pastors. He wasn't allowed to record anything. And he says, disclosure is coming and many are going to be prepared for what follows. Pastors must begin preparing their flock. And he puts this 40-minute video out regarding that whole thing. But that's one of the things that I wanted to show you regarding all of this, that evidently this is a meeting that did happen. Now there's another video that has come out regarding these pastors and what reportedly was said. And I want to show you this. This is on Shadow of Ezra. And he shares this clip of a man saying, you know, he knows or heard about these pastors at this meeting. Take a listen to what is said here. And I'm going to add to it at the end, but take a listen.
Pastors invited to come to.
I just think it's interesting that pastors have secret meetings. I think some of them are part of a brotherhood, secret brotherhood.
Private meeting with a group of men who are connected with the intelligence world that are believers, but are still have very high security clearance. These are legit, true men of God that are still connected to Washington, even this current administration and all branches of the military.
Okay, so there is no way for us to confirm who was all at the meeting regarding whether or not they are actually connected to the IC. These are men, still potentially involved with the military and the United States government. I don't know. There's no way for us really to know. Nothing was recorded, nothing was jotted, but this is reportedly the claim being made by some of the pastors. But here he goes on to say or details what he's been told.
And they literally told us, we had a sitting congressman, a very well-known congressman from Missouri. He called into that meeting as well. That was just for pastors. And this is what he said on speakerphone. This sitting powerful member of Congress said, "Are the pastors listening to me?" I'm getting chills right now because this happened to me. He said, "Are the pastors in the room listening to me?" And I said, "Yes, sir, we are here." And he said, "Listen to me. Go and tell the church they are not ready for what is coming. Narrative that is coming. What they are going to say is going to be like nothing you can even imagine. They are preparing to tell us that they are from another dimension, that they are our creator, and that these beings, these aliens, or whatever you want to call them, they were the ones that seeded us here. There is no such thing as God. Jesus was invented by them. The Bible was invented by them." And begin to just say, listen, prepare the people for what is
Y'all hear that? Jesus was invented by them. God was invented by them. Extraterrestrial life is about to be unveiled. People are about to learn that extraterrestrials seeded human life on the planet. Yeah. Some of us are ready. Some of us know. Other people are going to be shocked. So the pastors need to start preparing the people, because people going to be wondering why you lied to me. I don't think a lot of pastors knew that they were telling untruths. But some of them have an awakening, and they're like, if I tell the people, some of them might be too shocked. They might not be ready. And then you might have some pastors that, like, if I tell the people, there goes my salary. I ain't telling them nothing. But now they got the mandate from the government. So we're heard. We've been heard. We've heard. So we've been told.
coming because they're not ready.
Pretty intense, right? So pastors are now being told to.
So, and it cuts off right there, but that is in the description section of the Dr. Kia Pruitt show on my YouTube channel. What do y'all think about that? Yeah, Zaddy will tell you what you need to do. You ready? Okay, let me see. Then I wanted to show you, speaking of extraterrestrial life, this was something that somebody sent to me. And a lot of people like it's fake. Yeah, some people they're gonna be pretty upset. I agree. Operation Bluebeam. What'd you say? These pastors know that they're misleading us. Really? For their free money, they get free from the government. Ooh. I'm ready. Some people won't get that tithe money. But if that's been your job or your hustle for a long time, it's going to be hard to not have that money. But start telling the truth now so that people won't be upset or too upset. That's right. Oh, somebody said not one pastor has been trying to save souls, but now it's too late. Ooh-wee. I'm so ready. Yes, this extraterrestrial life been here for a long time, including the fallen ones and the ones that seeded us. That's why they keep saying it's the era of the divine feminine. Nimna or Ninhursag is here. Ninhursag, that might be who some people call Ninti. She is the sister of Enki and Enlil. They allegedly seeded humanity here in the Americas. The Anunnaki, the children of Anu. Here we go. It's time. It's time for us to wake up. That's why I say, we really got I don't know how we got so soft. I don't know if it's the soy, if it's the fact that you can't shame anybody, that you have to say, everybody's equal. You can't complain. You're like, you can't correct anybody. We've gotten so soft. And I'm a woman, and I'm like, can people just grow up? You know what I'm saying? Like, grow up and be ready to face the truth. Hey, Chief Mac, they're greeting you in the house. We want to be handheld. Sister Jacqueline says there's too much secrecy. And when we get it, it's already keeping us a step behind. The love of money is the root of all evil. Come through. Something just went in my throat. So thank you for 700 people being in the chat. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video.
Somebody said, can I get $20?
Who needs $20?
I don't know. I'm going to say someone said that.
My grandchildren said somebody sent me a message, can I get $20? I don't know if it's somebody from the show. Sometimes people send me PayPal requests. Let's see. I wanted to show you. Oh, yes. Look at this. This was on President Trump's Truth Social. He posted this. I'm going to show you a video. So I got the video first and I put it on my YouTube channel. And I asked people, do you think this is real or not? Some people said yes. It may literally be real, or it could be soft disclosure. Some people are like, no, it's not real. It could be AI, the video. But then I was like, well, what about this picture? Why would President Trump put the picture up there on his Truth Social? Let me see if I can show you. See, this is Truth Social, Donald Trump. Can y'all see that? See, that's Donald Trump, Truth Social. I don't know if you can see it at the top here. That's the video I just showed you. That's Donald Trump. It's his Truth Social. Let me put it in the chat for you. It's time. Our ancestors have returned. They are tired of us struggling, and they're tired of us dealing with the other extraterrestrials that have kept us suppressed and imprisoned. It was actually the extraterrestrials that took control of land masses and created governments like the United States Incorporated and put in ideologies like racism, sexism, all these phobias. They put in, seeded the idea of abortion clinics so that we can unalive our babies, because they were afraid of the entities, the extraterrestrials, because we've been seeded here by extraterrestrials. We're related to them. They were afraid of which one might come back, or come out the womb to deliver humanity. These beings that are over governments that enslaved the whole planet, they created modern medicine, pharmaceuticals that really unalive us and give us all these side effects, all these diseases. They have the antidote, the cure, but they don't give it to us. They don't release it to us. But all these sicknesses, that was a part of the beings that came here to enslave us. They're trying to keep us from elevating, because once we wake up and realize that we are, a part of the Galactic Federation, we'll be able to come to the table and meet our galactic family. We're all one family. We just don't remember. So the information has to come up, because the bad guys, the fallen angels, the Nephilim that fell down and made it with the women, they say they married them, they made them. No, they raped them. Some of them may have shape-shifted in relationships, but for the most part, they raped them. You have those, and then you have other ones that just came here, different reptilians, different races. That's like, hey, you know how they let immigrants come from all over the world? But like, hey, we want a better opportunity? Just take the land from the prisoners of war we have here. We already enslaved them. Y'all come on, enjoy, eat off of these people. Now, the people that's been invited here, they don't know that they're eating off the people. All they know is they're struggling in their land and they need food for their bloodline. Where do you think that war comes from? Where do you think that idea comes from? It comes from the fact that there are literal beings from America, this landmass, the Pangea, that were the stewards of the land that I keep saying it, we created this land. We created everything that's here. Other beings came. I'm talking about our ancestors. Other beings came. That's why the sun activates us, because we have a relationship with it. All this, we have a relationship with the sun, with the planet, the earth. But it activates us. Then you have these other beings from other places outside of America, outside of the planet Earth, that came here and didn't want us to enjoy who we are. So they brought different ideologies, different things, different diseases, and allow other beings to come and harvest our organs, drink our blood, steal our children, do all type of experimentation on us, all type of things. In exchange for that, they gave the government advanced technology that really wasn't advanced. Who cares about nuclear stuff? And who even cares about oil? I mean, oil is the blood of the dragons or blood of the giants. That's sacred. But you got nuclear energy, you got solar energy, you got energy that we haven't even heard of. So these presidents got this information and they created their little airplanes. Well, airplanes went, so they're like, oh, we created an airplane. No, you had technology and you reverse engineered it. You just went in reverse and you figured out how to make it operate. But there's something that's greater than an airplane, because we had the ability to fly ourselves. We just forgot. That's it. We forgot. And these entities that seeded the beings here, the people here, they were in war with other bloodlines or other entities, other extraterrestrials outside of the earth plane. And all of these different bloodlines are actually fighting each other in the human flesh and don't even know it. Struggling over the resources of this land that the Anunnaki or whoever seeded us here gave to their posterity. Every entity allowing their bloodlines to come over here, because the government who enslaved the people here made them prisoners of war. They not our bloodline. I don't care if they look like us. They ain't us. They not like us. They not like us. So the war that's been going on for centuries between extraterrestrials is playing out on the earth plane. That's what I'm saying, simply put. And we just been caught in the middle, not even realizing what's been happening. Well, now we got to do better and we got to stop warring. When the information comes out, it's going to set us free, because we're going to realize what's really been going on. Here's the video right here. Is this it? Add to somebody by the name of Flory. Let me see what I can here. We give credit again to Chief Rod Hayes. Add to somebody by the name of Flory Aguilar, who put this up, posted this so that we, the people, can actually see that what we've been reporting on is actually a reality that the Supreme Court hasn't yet unveiled. Is this it? Well, here it shows that the Supreme Court just sealed a ruling that abolishes income tax. Oh, no, that's nothing else. The money they took from you for 113 years was used to suppress every cure that could have saved your family. That is a ruling that the Supreme Court abolished income taxes. So you're going to get news about the IRS being done away with soon. That's not what I wanted to show you, but this is good to know. Why? See that number 13? Powerful vibrational number that unlocks codes within you. Symbols and numbers are codes. They're the first letters. For 113 years, they stole money from us to suppress cures that could have saved humanity.
I think that's the end of that.
And we give credit again to Chief
I'll let
Rod
it play out
Hayes
one more time.
and to somebody by the name of Flory Aguilar who put this up, posted this so that we, the people, can actually see that what we've been reporting on is actually a reality that the Supreme Court hasn't yet unveiled. But here it shows that the Supreme Court just sealed a ruling that abolishes income tax. The money they took from you for 113 years was used to suppress every cure that could have saved your family.
So yes, that's on my YouTube channel in the shorts. If you want to see that video, I'll try to remember to put all this in the description section for you. But finally, I want to show you this video that was sent to me, which is just a video of the picture that President Trump had put on his Truth Social. It's right here. President Trump walking with an alien is what I asked. I don't know why it's not showing that. Let me see.
We give credit again
No,
to
it won't
Chief.
show it. Here it is. Just doing the same thing over and over. There's the alien. There's President Trump. That looks like Elon. But yeah. Allegedly, they're about to disclose extraterrestrial life. But you know, the scripture says, don't you know you are gods? Ye are gods. You can find that in Psalm. Just look up, the Bible says ye are gods. Some people don't know how to take that. But you literally are gods. You are the gods. You are creators. You know, some of us had to try to pacify people, say, oh, you can create your own reality. No, some of us actually created universes, the sun, the soil, the planet that in which we live. Our ancestors did. And we're going to find that out. But in the meantime, family, my encouragement is to please, 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 let's keep our emotions in check. Let's raise our vibrations. Let's get our lives in order. Let's get our family in order. Let's get our finances in order. Because how we spend our money is an indication a lot of times of how we treat ourselves, yes, and live our lives. Just like how we treat our bodies. Sometimes that spills out into our relationships, how we treat one another. If you love yourself, I mean, really, really love yourself, you will treat others with love and respect. Because, you know, there's a saying that says, love your neighbor as yourself. It's hard to have respectful relationships with others if you don't respect yourself. Love your neighbor the way you love yourself. If you're a Christian, you were taught there are 2 commandments. All other commandments are hung on these. The 2 foundations: love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Wait till you find out that you are God, that you're supposed to be loving. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. I love you, family. Sometimes I can be high vibrational. Sometimes I can just talk about love, peace, joy, light, and flowers, and rainbows, and money, and wealth. And then sometimes I want to talk about how we need to get our lives in order for the sake of the family, for the sake of the children, for the sake of community, for the sake of the nation, for the sake of the world. Because healthy societies are comprised of healthy communities, and healthy communities are comprised of and built upon healthy families. Healthy whole families is contingent upon you being whole, healed, healthy. I love you, family.
Hear
Thank you
her
for listening.
call,
Thank you for watching.
raising vibrations for one and all.
Make it a
Dr.
great day.
Kia
Peace, family.
shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to
Before you all leave, thank you for still being here. I'm going to come back to show you later my lapis lazuli necklace that Orisha Stone made for me. It is gorgeous. It's one of my favorite stones, lapis lazuli. I love it. We're going to bring him back on the show so he can make stones that resonate with you and your bloodline, your DNA, your birthday, your life path number. So he'll come on and talk about the importance of the lapis lazuli. That's my latest gift from him. He's my jeweler. Shout out to Orisha Stone. Please subscribe to his channel. Here's the last one he made for me. There's an empress or a goddess rather here. This is pure gold, 0.999 pure gold with stones here. We'll come back and talk about the significance of this. I wore it all day yesterday. It made me feel so good. It says Nefertari on the back, 0.999 pure gold. If you want to wear stones and precious metals around your neck, on your fingers, or on your body, contact Orisha Stone. We're going to bring him back very soon. He's on Facebook as Orisha Stone, YouTube, and Instagram. And he also gave me this matriarchal coin, a gift. Thank you, Brother Orisha. I'm going to do a whole podcast on Orisha Stone. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is a 2-ounce coin made just for Dr. Kia Pruitt, a matriarchal coin, he calls it. And these are figures from ancient pyramids. So I just wanted you to see that, family. We're going to bring him on so he can create beautiful jewelry for you. Peace, family. I just wanted to show it to you. I can't wait to bring him back on. I love it. Take care. Go out and make this a great day. Bye-bye.